just a second.
Silence this.
Okay, I've got everything on.
Let me get my stuff straight here. We're all on.
Yes.
Okay. It is 5:01 p.m. We're going to call this city council meeting to order. And I'm going to recognize that we have 4 council members here. So we do have a quorum, and we're going to now recess into executive session. City council will convene in closed session pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551 and the Texas Government Code for one or more of the following authorized reasons. City council will meet in closed session pursuant to Texas Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551.074, personnel matters to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, resignation, duties, discipline, or dismissal of the following public officer or employee. City Administrator R. Scott Dixon. It is now 5:02 p.m.
Alright.
So you're telling me that issue can't be talked about?
There's a tornado in Kenny County. It's like a radar.
Yeah, they both sound.
CAEZC, Castroville Area Economic Development.
Doesn't look as big as it did last night, but it's getting bigger. That's gonna miss us. These might
That's
not.
that's what they're
I'm
saying
not
is
aware
gonna
of
fire
the
up ahead
other
of
two technically.
coming up from there.
Right.
It's that
I
front
understand.
starting to slow down.
understand.
They said tomorrow's high is like 70.
Yeah.
All the food.
I don't know. I didn't. Did you do anything? Maybe it's time to do it.
So the agenda was put. So,
Well, but also, this is different, this is different than what that is.
okay. This is what's prepared for that item. I understand. I understand.
Yeah, we're just
I
taking
understand there was a
possible
typo.
action.
I will. I will. Yes, sir.
Could
No
you,
problem.
before we start, you want to tell Mayor the time of the executive session on that? Live stream's on there. What was the time?
For the
Absolutely.
website.
Okay.
Bless you.
You guys see what's happening?
Do I want to? Duly noted.
Bless you. Oh, no, hey, we understand.
It's allergies.
I know it is. It's that time of year.
By chance, do you remember what time Councilman Murray's arrived?
That'd be
Yes, I did.
5:32, right?
Yeah, I put it down at 5:33 on
Okay.
But I put it on mine.
I put it on 5:33 on mine. He's right.
Okay.
That's the problem with too many watches. I never know.
I wrote it on the certified agenda as 5:33 to arrive.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I did make that notation. Okay. Okay. We're waiting because I told everyone we would start at 6:15.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
When I came back in here.
Be right back.
Okay.
So we're not gonna start till 6:15.
6:15. Before we get started, I just want to remind everyone out there that we do have a public participation form back here. If anyone would like to talk about a particular agenda item, please complete that form and turn it in before that agenda item. And then I'll give you an opportunity to talk about it at that time, if you want. I just want to remind everybody that that option is there. Of course, everybody has the opportunity to talk during citizens' comments. That's just an extra thing during the agenda item. Sir,
Can we do,
I understand.
we have Pastor Gutierrez, is he, for the invocation?
Is everyone here? You ready? I'm a little bit earlier than what I said I'd do, but let's.
Mayor, you can do anything you want.
Hot dang, I love to hear that. Let's reconvene this meeting in an open session and let's have a roll call, please.
Okay, what time is it?
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. 6:14 p.m.
Shana Martinez, District 1.
Houston Marchman, District 2.
Bill King, District 3.
David Mers Jr. for District 4.
Bruce Alexander, Mayor. If you're all, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
honor
Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, Pastor Gutierrez, would you please lead us in an invocation?
Yes, let's bow our heads and pray. Lord, we thank you so much for this day that we have. We thank you for the rain that is headed our way. We pray that it would just downpour on our area that so desperately needs it. Lord, we pray over this meeting that everything would go smoothly, that the agenda items would be taken care of. I pray that there would be grace in this room, both from this council and from those that live in our community, that the best decisions that will be made for the betterment of our community would be here. And Lord, we know it's spring break, so please let this council get home early. In Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. All right, I like that.
Thank you for the rain you brought.
Yes. Okay, we're going to move on to citizens' comments. And the city council will hear comments from any citizen or visitor. Speakers must address their comments to the presiding officer rather than individual council members or staff. Stand at the podium, speak clearly into the microphone, and state your name and residential address before speaking. Speakers will be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes for testimony. In accordance with the State Open Meetings Act, the city council is restricted from discussing or taking action on items not listed on the agenda. Action can only be taken at a future meeting. Is there anyone who would like to speak at citizens' comments? Okay, I always like to ask a second time. Anyone like to speak on citizens' comments? Please go to the podium. Name, address, and then we'll go from there. Please, sir.
My name is Bray Robertson, and I live at 1310 Fiorella Street. And I'm a senior in high school and the president of our 4-H club. Johnny Guzman and I have been working on a Veterans Memorial Walkway project for September Square as part of our 4-H leadership project. Johnny is unable to be here tonight because he has a baseball game, but he has been equally involved in getting this all together. So far, we have received approval from the American Legion, the Parks and Recreation Board, and the Historical Landmark Commission. Through generosity of our community, we have raised $10,000 to fund the project, and Mr. Blaine Nash with Nath Construction has generously volunteered to provide the manual labor to help build the walkway. Our goal is to create a space that honors the service and sacrifice of our veterans and provides a place for the community to reflect and remember for generations to come. At this time, we would respectfully like to request to be placed on a future city council agenda so that we can formally present our plan and seek final approval to move forward with the project. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm sure we can make that happen. If you would please, in addition to the verbal request, if you can give me something in writing so we can just put it on there and we're good to go. Just
Yes,
a little short what the project is, so you can put it in there.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to make citizens' comments? Okay, hearing none, let's move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda exists currently of council minutes of February 1st, February 24th. So you have a special call meeting and the 24th regular city council meeting. I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but I know there's, and I'm sorry, Deborah, I just read these this afternoon. There's a couple things that minor that I think we need to address, but I think we can address those right here real quick, if that's okay.
So which one do you suggest we take off?
Well, the one that which one is this?
February the
The-
11th.
the 24th and the 24th. So the 11th, I'm
Special.
good.
The special, both on them.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. So
So I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda, the minutes of the February the 11th special call meeting.
motion made and second to approve the February 11th minutes. Do we have a second? Okay, I'm sorry. Motion made and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. Okay. I wanted to bring up the February 24th special meeting, and I'm talking about page 8. And I want to say that I was asking about the streets in Alsatian Oaks, why they were targeted to redo before other streets. And
Oh, not
That's
Country Village.
it was Alsatian Oaks because they were on that plan for resurfacing. And it makes sense
Okay.
to save what we have, but it was Alsatian Oaks.
Yeah, I was the one who brought up Country Village, I believe.
Yeah.
So,
And I did, I brought up Alsatian Oaks. Okay, so I just wanted to bring that up. And the other one, well, if you want to do one meeting at a time, but
Sure.
the other meeting on February 24th, on actually page 18 in our packet, the top of the page, Mayor Alexander said this item was to install the pump motor and electrical components in the recently drilled Flat Creek. A motion was made to authorize. So could you reference who made the motion? Who seconded the motion?
Yes, I will. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry,
No,
I picked up on that.
that's okay.
Okay, and those are the two changes I said. Other than that, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay, motion and second to approve them with those corrections. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, what do we got next? Is it me? I get to talk. Sit back and relax, folks. This is probably one of my favorite parts of the meeting. I just want to share some things. I know the things were publicized pretty good about the CIP projects, but I just wanted to go through them again at a meeting here so everyone that's listening in here and whatever can understand what City Council did. On February 24th, City Council took action to approve the expenditure of more than $2.8 million in general fund reserves for several projects, including $400,000 for street paving projects. We'd already budgeted $200,000, so we approved $400,000. So, I mean, that's up for interpretation, but to me, that means we set $600,000 for street paving projects this year. Council directed staff to develop a plan of action for council approval to move forward with paving projects this year. Whether it be $400,000 or $600,000, we directed staff to come up with a plan of action to move forward with the paving this year. In addition, council approved funding the matching grant for the construction of the all-inclusive playground equipment at Lions Park on Houston Street for a total of $469,367. Approved funding $200,000 to construct a new pool bathhouse. Approved funding $205,000 for a new pool community center parking lot. And $549,000 to expand and remodel the library. Council also agreed to set aside up to $1 million to repair and/or remodel City Hall. The day after council action, I spoke with both the library director and Parks and Rec director about the projects approved by the council and asked for them to be as expeditious as possible with plans and specs for city council review and approval to move these projects forward as soon as possible. On the utility side, City Council directed staff to bring a plan of action to replace water lines that are deemed too small to meet service requirements and need replacement based on age and/or the number of leaks associated with certain water mains. Staff was asked to include projects that could be done in-house with city employees and city equipment. Council also directed staff to complete the installation of the pump and motor for the new well on the east side of Castroville. My understanding was that was part of the original plan that was left out, so that possibly might be able to be done with a change order. I'm not sure. It depends on what the amounts will be. I spoke to the city engineers working on both of these projects and emphasized the need to provide information to city council as soon as possible so we can authorize the appropriate funds needed to complete each task. Staff was also directed to develop a plan of action to complete the wastewater treatment plant projects and to begin work on street and drainage maintenance to clean silt lines from streets and bar ditches to improve drainage throughout the city before it rained. So, we had some great rain, which is awesome, but I hope people looked at it and kind of seen where the areas of tension need to be done, and try to move forward with that as quickly as we can, understanding that there's staff and equipment constraints, but council was willing to work with those as needed. I look forward to regular progress reports from the Director of Public Works, Library Director, and the Parks and Recreation Director through the City Administrator on each of these projects directed by City Council. Secondly, and I hope everybody fully grasps the gravity of this, the City of Castroville has had an ongoing billing dispute with City Public Service since the city changed electric service providers from CPS to LCRA. One of my personal goals since becoming the mayor has to work to resolve this dispute and rebuild a successful working relationship between the two electrical utilities. On March 2nd, we met with CPS leadership to address this issue. It was proposed by CPS that the amount due from the city would be reduced from $667,000 to a little over $62,000. A follow-up meeting with CPS staff on Friday, March 6th, confirmed the amount due from the city and the current rates used to charge Castroville for service each month moving forward. In addition, the city had been informed in 2023 that Castroville would be responsible for $1.3 million in infrastructure improvements made by CPS to provide service to Castroville. We were told that this amount is no longer considered due. The end result is that we went into the meeting with the belief that there was more than $1.9 million in disputed charges the city of Castroville owed CPS that has now been reduced to $62,563.07. I just want you guys to understand that. $1.97 million was reduced to $62,000. I think that's a pretty good win for the city. Okay? This check will be signed tonight to end the billing dispute. City Council will consider what direction to take on the future electric provider for the city at a future meeting. Third is the city staff is currently working through our consultant, P3 and Associates, our bond counsel, and the city attorney with representatives for the three current development agreements on amendments to each agreement that were originally proposed by each development. City Council previously approved increasing the amount of funds available to two of the developments through PID assessments once several concerns raised by myself were resolved. Following negotiations, the proposed amendments will be presented to City Council for review and consideration prior to City Council approval and adoption. Several of the proposed amendments are designed to enhance the city's position in ensuring the city and the developer work together for the overall betterment of the city. And finally, I want to once again thank the members of the Planning and Zoning Commission, Historic Landmark Commission, Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, Library Board, and Airport Board for all of the work they have done and continue to do in reviewing ordinances and providing recommendations for updates and or changes to better meet the needs of Castroville and to comply with changes in the laws the city is required to follow. In addition, at this time, I just want to ask Deborah if she would look at, I think it's Chapter 2 of the Code of Ordinances, and provide any updates necessary on those, for example, like the posting agendas and things like that. Those ordinances all need to be updated. And that's all. Thank you all very much for everything. All right, let's move forward to item 10, which is considered possible action resulting from items posted and legally discussed in the executive session. The item on here is to consider and take possible action regarding the performance improvement plan for the city administrator. I would entertain a motion. Actually, before I say that, I just want to make it clear that there were no decisions made or actions taken in executive session. So I would entertain a motion on this.
I make a motion to approve the performance improvement plan for the city.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion made and approved the performance improvement plan for the city administrator, and I'm assuming that's the one that's presented by the city attorney's
Yes.
office. Okay. There's really nothing to discuss because it was all done in executive session. So I'm going to call for there's a motion made in a second. I'm going to call all in favor.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Opposed.
Okay, motion carries 3-2. Before we move on to anything else, we'll take that under advisement at a later moment. Thank you very much. Item 11, discussion and action items. First item is consider and take appropriate action on approving a contract between the City of Castroville and Medina County Elections Administrator for election services for the May 2nd, 2026 general election. Deborah?
Yes, this is the contract with the county. They will provide, of course, the ballots, the materials, the machines, the workers. It's all in one. In here, it does show to be an estimated cost of $8,500. I do have budgeted $10,000. In general, it's normally around that $8,500, unless something unusual happens. But we share the cost with the school, and they get the brunt of it because they have more voters. So in general, that is what we always look to on the budgeting of this.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to add, I talked to Loopy for us.
He's retiring
He is retiring. He will retire before this election.
on my birthday.
But I did talk to him, and I told him that we would be considering this tonight. And so
Yes, he provided this contract for us.
Okay.
And so I've always worked well with him. And anybody else that was over there for the elections, they tend to have good people.
Okay, I would look for a motion to authorize the city secretary to enter into this contract for election service for May 2nd, 2026 general election.
I make a motion to approve the contract with Medina County Elections Administration to conduct the May 2nd, 2026 general election and authorize the city secretary, election coordinator for the city of Castroville to sign the agreement.
I'll second.
Motion made and second to approve the contract for election services with Medina County. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Same sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Item B is discussion and appropriate action regarding results of traffic calming study for the following intersections: Gentiles and Athens, Country Lane and Village Path, Fiorella and London Street. Chief?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. How are y'all?
Good,
Good, sir.
Good. Through here real quick.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Great.
I'm doing great.
So before you go any further, let me just ask you a question. I just want to make sure I follow the process correctly. Council directs a traffic study.
Mhm.
You come back with the results of the traffic study, and then we prepare an ordinance?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Y'all have to, basically it's presented to y'all. Y'all are making the decision
Yes,
to
sir.
approve it. What I looked at is Gentiles and Athens. Looking at this, I wanted to make sure at the bottom of this agenda item summary, I put the TxDOT standard in there, just to make y'all aware of it. And I've done that on other stop sign ordinances as well, because they shouldn't be to control speed. You have other factors to include there. And I'll start off with Athens and Gentiles. That came from a citizen complaining, along with Councilman Lee bringing that to my attention. Went down there, met with them. We did some speed studies in that area. There was moderate speeding. A lot of that kind of comes out of the park, so there's peak times that are doing that. A lot of walkers and stuff like that in the area. What I'm recommending, and I think in your packet, it shows a before and after, making that the four-way stop at that location. Also, I've requested a newer dead-end street sign there. because when I was talking to the citizen, she was saying that a lot of people go down that street, and we know how some people look at signs. They don't look at signs. So hopefully with a newer sign, more reflection, that they'll see it better. That's my first recommendation was the making that a four-way stop. And I got from the cost actually came from city staff looking at that. The one that probably, I think the next one I have is Friarella and London Street. This one is kind of unique in the fact that I've been complaining about that for a long time myself, just looking at, and I'll put some photographs in there for you, that when you're leaving the police station and coming this way, if there's a vehicle parked right at that intersection or even 10 feet back, the sight distance, you almost have to come out 3/4 of the way probably to get that sight distance. And I've caught myself like this, hitting the brakes pretty hard.
Is that to turn this into a four-way stop?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful.
And that's in your packet showing a before and after. I actually, on this one, actually reached out to TxDOT to get their feedback on it. And in fact, I got it this morning, thank goodness, on some of their recommendations. And I'm kind of in agreement with them. What I found in the city ordinances was that no parking was red. I'm like, I need to dig a deeper dive into that, because typically that's reserved for your fire hydrants and stuff.
Sure.
Looking at other cities around here, usually it's yellow, the no parking. But as TxDOT did point out, people don't really pay attention to that yellow marker on the street. So what they designed or put out was, and I'll give this to y'all, it's pretty simple. This was not in your package. This photograph of what they were recommending. Thank you, sir. Oh. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Okay. So you're also recommending there be no parking on this, around that building?
What happens is
Okay.
we take that, and we would have to direct that at a future meeting as far as the no parking.
Mm-hmm.
This actually came from the Director of Traffic Operations was his title. And his deal was the public street, painting the curbs was meaningless. And I probably tend to agree with him on that issue. And his idea was to place surface mount, mounting it to the ground surface mount, so you don't get a tripping issue or anything else like that. And I'd have to look at some distance on that ADA stuff as far as the distance if we put it on the sidewalk.
I have a question for you,
Yes, sir.
and you're going to know the answer.
Let's hope so.
Okay, well, different people will think different things, and of course, we've always that you're not supposed to park within so many feet of an intersection. Is that a
Yes,
That's
30 feet.
regulation?
30 feet.
30 feet from the intersection officially?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I know we have events, they park right up and sometimes into the intersection.
No, and I've got some
Things like
complaints
that.
from around town, people parking next to the stop signs, and typically we just go tell them to move.
Okay,
Um,
I just wanted to ask that. It's a general, it's a law.
state law. That's in
It's
your
state law.
too. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
sir. I actually also reached out to, I think she's like the property manager of this building here,
Okay,
just to let her know this was going to be on the agenda if she had any issues with that, or the owners had any issues with that, to give us a call, come to council, speak their piece, because I know past experience, when you take away parking spaces, people get a little angry.
well, my
So-
question not only just ties to that, but it expands to every street in town. You're really not to be parking
Correct.
within 25 foot of the intersection
Correct.
anyway.
Where we get most of our complaints
Okay.
is Magnolia
I understand.
Cafe.
I understand.
Well, and then over near the library,
Yeah.
Okay,
the
thought I'd ask.
Then we have the other one of Country Lane and Village Path. I'm the newcomer here, but what I've been told was
That's his corner.
that in the past, and always when I first got here, I went down that road. I'm like, why didn't Village Path have a stop sign, and the stop sign's on Country Lane? Well, I was told that there was only one house back there, and then the development came, and then the stop sign got left. And looking at it, when I met with Councilman Mers out there, looking at it, there's walkers there, there's everything that's going on out there. We did some traffic studies on Country Lane, moderate speeding. We did Alvina, which really surprised me. One of the ones we did came back, and we had some some issues where the radar trailer was placed, so the numbers were off. So we went back out and did it. I'm still not happy with those results. It still shows a little bit higher moderate speeding. As I told Councilman Mers, if you get hit going 30 or you get hit in 35, either way is going to be bad. He actually went around, and I'll also hand this out to you. My hat's off to Councilman Mers on this one, because he went and actually got people's opinion of what was needed in that area, which I was surprised by some, not by others.
Thank you, sir. See how many of these people I know?
Probably a lot. Most of them have been there a while.
Just a couple. Yes, sir.
So I gave away all my copies, but you can see there as far as. Let me look at that.
You know what? I know who's on here. I got the original in my bag.
Looking at that, the posted speed limit, painted lane lines, and that's really going to be, I think that would help, but I don't know. It's not the end all to be all on that issue. The marked street parking, I don't know how it's going to slow people down. Speed limit at 15. I was surprised by a few people put 15 in there. And I was really, the biggest surprise was the speed bumps. That was the biggest surprise for me. Dealing with speed bumps in my prior life, people either loved them or hated them. And you have to get, according to what I was told, and we did, engineered to go over a speed bump. I don't get it, but I'm not an engineer. So that's something to look at. And they would actually help pay for those speed bumps according to this list. So we'll probably bring that back.
I want to be clear on that point. I made clear to them when I was doing this survey that this was not them signing on the dotted line, I'll come by with a bill. That this was them indicating they would be open to doing that. This is not an obligation. I just wanted to say that in open session in case one of them is watching and they just heard him say, well, they're willing to pay for it. I don't think they can. That's not how this city works.
I think what Councilman Mers, this document shows that people want something done. And I've told the patrol sergeant, to get with his staff and look at the busiest times and days and everything else and start hitting them then. And what happens are these driving apps. I'm telling you, it's the path of least resistance, and they don't want to hit. Right. They don't want to hit the traffic, So I'm proposing at that intersection, the four-way stop. I think that would help alleviate some confusion as well. It's not really to slow people down. It's basically definitely on Village Path. That has to be a stop. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. And it makes more sense to go ahead and have a full three-way stop there. Then there's no confusion.
I have comments, but I'll let him.
I'm sorry. I didn't
So
interrupt.
those are the three. I'll try to answer. Hopefully I have the answer for any questions that are going to be asked. We would basically bring this back as an ordinance to y'all, the next council meeting. And I talked to a couple of people, and they definitely know that Fiorella in London is an issue as well. And I've seen it too. And I've sat here and watched people, go, even if they look like they're going fast and they're going 30, 30 is too fast in this area with all the walkers and everything else that's going on downtown. It is.
I just want to make a comment. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate all this. And I just want to make sure everybody fully understands, watching and what have you, that every stop sign, every traffic control device in the city is supported by a city ordinance, which authorizes them to enforce it. So you go through the process of amending the ordinance, such like that. The one here at London, my own comments here on Fiorella, we're going full circle. A lot of times, historically, the cities put things and then they haven't stood the test of time. People have changed things. But I support this one more than anything, because that building, it's a blind corner.
Yes, it is.
It is a danger. And anybody that's coming up for London Street knows that, because you can't see the vehicles coming. The one down at Gentile, I got it. The park when the soccer or the leagues are coming, that's a whole different issue. And Country Village, I'm going to tell you honestly, we used to have those there, but again, the no stop sign that was off of Village Path history, it was before all the houses.
Right.
It was when it was a different.
Essentially, then at
Yes.
that time, the road turned right,
Yes.
and there were 3 driveways that
Yes.
way, and now
So-
it's a thoroughfare.
So I'm just thank you. I mean, I hope council supports them.
Yeah, there's also a document, before I forget, that Councilman Mers gave me, and kind of it's a, I'm not going to use the correct verbiage, but let's just say it's a low, medium, high on cost wise of things that you can do. Some of them are temporarily. Some of them are like what I call the delineator poles that come up, the kind of a calming effect. I've been to other communities where if you have a divided roadway, they'll put what they call a safe zone where the people crossing in traffic can stop in the middle where they're not going to get hit and then go forward. So there's a lot of different options. Some of this, it does mention the narrow roads will slow traffic down, and there's a lot of narrow roads in this area. So that is a plus for Castroville as far as the narrow roads in one sense.
The delineators, the plastic sticking up, they're just a target for people to hit.
Bill Miller's a testament to that.
Anyway, Councilman Mers, please, I'd like to.
Sure. So I have no issue with I have no issue and frankly no comment about the recommendations for the 2 intersections over here. You guys see those a lot more often than I do. I mean, half the time I'm riding my bike up to the back of City Hall, so I don't even go through them at all. I do have a few comments, surprise, about my neighborhood and the intersection outside my door.
Sure.
I think the implementation of a 3-way stop with the painted stop lines that you had there at Country Lane and Village Path is important. I think that is a needed safety improvement at a very unclear intersection. The day after my conversation with the chief, my wife almost got T-boned. And about 3 days after that, I almost got in an accident there as well. And I think that if I went out there and I sat on my front porch and watched, I probably couldn't count on 2 hands the number of close calls in an evening rush hour. And so, absolutely, I think we need the 3-way stop there. Frankly, I'd like to go beyond the chief's recommendation of just the stop signs and the 3-way, or in the stop lines. I'd like to see enhanced markings for that intersection, including painted curb extensions and painted bollards or something similar to that, because that would both improve the visibility of the fact that there is an intersection there, and it would increase the ability of the intersection to enforce itself, because there is more geometry there that's forcing you to pay attention. This could be very quickly and cheaply implemented, as it is outlined in that document that the chief included in the packet for me. And it could be later dismantled if ineffective. However, I do not feel that this 3-way stop is a complete solution to the problems my district is facing. This will do nothing to slow the over 1,100 vehicles that pass through our half-mile-long straightaways every day. Even as they approach a large flashing sign, a quarter of those 1,100 vehicles are exceeding the speed limit. And that's while there's a giant flashing sign. I don't know about you, but I notice that and I drive differently. It makes me look at my speedometer if I wouldn't have otherwise. It affects what it measures. And there's still a quarter of people going over 25. 15% of people are going 27 or more. That's a lot. And so I would like to include in what we're requesting to come back pilot programs implementing temporary physical traffic calming measures in the area that could then be evaluated for their effectiveness.
Do you have anything else, sir?
Not at this time. That's what I had prepared.
Okay, Mr. Lee?
Are you talking about the area from that intersection to 90 or the other direction going toward 471 where people are speeding?
I am predominantly talking about the streets, Village Path.
Well, I don't know
Lane.
I don't know the street
Okay.
names there.
The significant east-west roads. The road from 90 to the village or to the Methodist Church is where the 1,100 cars a day was being
Okay.
measured.
All right.
But past that intersection, even once they've safely navigated that, which would be a huge improvement, there are still half a mile straightaways with nice, wide, 30-foot roads. I have a string in there that shows how wide my road is. And if Arnie was holding the other end, it'd be sagging from where I'm sitting.
Okay. I'm sorry. go ahead.
It looks like a racetrack because we repaved it like a racetrack a few years ago, and people drive it like a racetrack.
So the solution is to tear up your street.
That is the solution that the most people that I talked to supported, is putting speed bumps in.
Well, I was just curious if council would have this reviewed in 3 months or 4 months to see if the stop signs made any difference or not, and allow it to come back from Mr. Mers as a citizen at that point to have additional steps taken if this did not work. Because you're going beyond now what's in the recommendation here, and there's no cost for those other things.
I think
being
we can
considered.
stick with the stop signs tonight and in the next council meeting, and then I will actually look into it. What I want to do is actually increase some enforcement on Alvina and Country Lane, and we do write a lot of citations on Country Lane. I didn't pull that data, but I know that a couple officers, they really work it hard. Typically what we do is we do the radar trailer, gather the stats, and then we go back out after that. Then we go back out with the radar trailer to see if there's any significant change in that.
I
Could
think,
I respond to that very briefly?
sure.
Respectfully, there are roads that people are speeding on that you say there's too much speeding on that are almost a mile from the intersection where we're talking about these stop signs. I don't see how any reasonable person could expect adding 2 stop signs a mile to the east to reasonably affect speeding on Alvina. And so I think, this has been one of the 2 largest complaints in my district for 3 years. People have been calling in, you've been putting the traffic trailer out there a week, a month for almost 2 years. And respectfully, yes, we can put police on every road so that no one's ever out of line of sight of a cruiser. But at that point, speed bumps are cheaper, and they work after you go home for the night and are safe in your bed.
I'll just add one more thing, Chief. And I think I agree. I understand what you're getting at. I think the first step is the signs. Adopt the ordinance, then we can go back and reassess that. I will add one thing, Mr. Mers. Years ago, just like in other parts of town, there was stop signs in the middle of Village Path where that road goes off back to those other houses. There were stop signs there where it went from in the middle. It was cut in half. And they were put to try to, even though stop signs are not their purpose is to control speed, they were put in there to break up that long road. They worked for a while until the citizens said, we don't want that anymore. So there's a lot of options to look at, and there's no question. But this is the first step, is what I'm hearing, and then we can go from there. Mr. Martinez, did you have anything you'd like to comment? Mr. Marchman?
I'd like to make a motion.
Excuse me, hang on just a second. Mr. King?
That used to make his motion.
Okay,
I'd like to make a motion to authorize staff to proceed with creation of a city ordinance addressing stop signs
I'll second.
for these 3
for these
locations.
3 locations.
I'll second.
Okay,
I'd like to propose an amendment to that motion.
sure.
I propose to amend the motion to include traffic calming pilot projects in the Country Village area.
Are you, anybody agreeable to that?
Value. I don't know how we can
I don't
vote on
know
that
that.
tonight.
Right.
Well, to include, they would have to be established via ordinance, I assume.
Everything,
So it would
everything.
come back in the same ordinance as the stop signs.
No.
I think we have to have more discussion.
I think the
start
intent is to move with the signs, and then Chief would go forward from there based on your traffic monitoring.
Well, the other suggestion is to have David at the next council meeting, make a proposed amendment to look at traffic calming alternates, test programs in the country village area. Because that way it keeps it separate from these. Because if we do that, we're going to have to come back and discuss more. Let's get these three online and then come back and let's discuss what this pilot program would be like.
I think, yeah, because I think the motion is based on the recommendation of the chief based on your traffic study. And it's not, we're not closing the idea to any future things, but at this time, move forward with the signs. I think it's the thought. Okay.
Kick enough cans down the road, the cars will slow down.
Any further discussion? Or none, we have a motion to approve the placement for preparation of an ordinance, the placement of the signs as recommended. Any, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposition? No, motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's move on to item C, which is discussion and appropriate action to adopt a resolution authorizing submission of an application to the State Homeland Security Grant Program for a police patrol vehicle. You know, Chief, these were first on the consent. I pulled them off because I just wanted to, they're great things, so I just want them to be actual action items. But I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
You're all of these programs, that's awesome that you're getting these patrol vehicles. What's the odds in getting this?
You know, I don't know. I didn't think our odds were too good with Stone Garden. They actually reached back out to us and offered deobligated funds in the amount of somewhere in $80-something thousand. And that vehicle just hit the ground this week, and it's at the upfitters to get outfitted. And it's a 2026 Chevy Silverado police performance vehicle.
Okay.
Oh,
you're going to a truck?
Yes, sir. And some of these other grants, we've got 2 grants that are with Lone Star for vehicles. We've got 1 grant with ACOG. And the reason you see a price difference is because some of this equipment we're using out of the old units, but these last 2 units, we actually need that equipment to replace.
Sure.
It's going to be a newer vehicle. My goal is to, I think I jotted down, when I first got here, we had 9 marked units. 1 unit was supposedly just for the reserves. So that's not a good efficient use of your vehicle fleet. So we brought that one out. It had a lot of miles on it, took that out. So basically right now, if we, depending on what grants we get, depends on if we're going to add a total new vehicle to the fleet or we're going to replace, we have 2 2020s that are on the fleet right now. And my intentions are to bring those and give those to the detective and the lieutenant, and that still have a vehicle with lower mileage on it. But my intentions are long-term is to get some of our maintenance costs down and get those warranties in there and everything else. So I got my fingers crossed. I don't think we're going to get, right now, if this one is approved, we'll have 4 units that are out for grants. If we get 2, that would be better than not getting any at all, and it saves the city a lot of money. And my hat's off before I forget. Corporal Sapper has done an outstanding job with these grants. He truly has, very mindful of it. We're very fortunate to have him, and he's done an outstanding job because these grants are not easy. And I also want to thank Financial Director Leroy because it's a lot to do. It's a lot to do.
Well, I just want to applaud you and your whole team.
It's the staff. It's the staff.
Your whole team for going after
staff.
these things.
I got my hand on the steering wheel.
I understand that. You get to be up here just taking that, but please pass that to your staff.
Yes, sir.
It's commendable to see them go after these things. Ms. Martinez, did you have anything?
Not same applause. I mean, it doesn't hurt to submit.
No.
And all the work you're doing and everything, keep going.
You know what? The worst thing anybody can tell you is no, but you can't get that if you don't ask.
Got to be at the table.
Yes, sir.
Got to be at the table.
Mr. Marchman?
No,
Mr.
thank you.
King?
Thank you, Chief.
Mr. Murs?
No objections.
Mr. Lee? Can I entertain a motion?
I make a motion that we accept and approve a resolution authorizing the Castroville Police Department to apply for and accept grant funding through the State Homeland Security Grant Program, grant number 5905901, in the amount of $101,280 for the purchase of 1 police patrol vehicle. This grant does not require a city match.
I'll second.
I'm going to take your second, Mr. Murs, Councilman Murs. We have a motion and a second to approve moving forward with this. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? Hearing none, motion carries. Thanks again, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's move forward to the next one, the discussion and appropriate action to accept the racial profiling report for 2025. If I'm not mistaken, this is a requirement that you guys have to do these
You're
things?
correct.
Okay. And again, I pulled it off the exec just in case anybody had any question, the consent, in case anybody had any questions.
I pulled up, as you see on the third page, 5,920 stops. And I believe there was, I can't remember where did I write that down, the warnings. Written warnings is 2,633 warnings.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at that, to give you a comparison, 2024, there was 3,306 stops. 2023, there was 1,400 stops. 2022 was 1,400 stops, respectively. And some of that goes with, I arrived in 2022. We were down 4 or 5 officers. We're fully staffed. We're working these grants with the overtime and conducting a lot of traffic stops, still issuing a significant amount of warnings. And as I said, I've actually approved a lot of these citations. People need to slow down, period.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And the highlight of this, I think the important part of this is 2025, I have 0 formal written complaints on any police officer on a traffic stop. Now, I've had them where they're not happy, but nothing that was formally in writing to us, to my office,
Good.
out of that many stops.
Wonderful.
So,
Mr. Lee, did you have any questions?
No, sir.
Yes, sir. Oh, no, you said no? I'm sorry.
It's amazing that I did. I said.
Oh, I that's why I didn't hear correctly. I'm sorry. Councilman Rose?
I was just curious because I couldn't quite tell from the packet who evaluates whether the results contained in this report constitute a problem or not.
I think it would be, I've never had that issue. It's probably going to come from T-Cole. Me looking at the individual stats, I don't see really any issues looking at that. And we cannot really, the only thing we can change on this report, because it actually comes from our ticket writers, the only thing we can check or change on there is if a search was done or not. So if the officer made a mistake, he searched the vehicle and didn't put it on that citation, we can go back and put that in there. But we cannot change a lot of that information that's in there. So it's clean data that you're getting.
I guess, sorry, I'm not trying to ask like if the data is wrong, but like
Who evaluates?
we're required to create this report. Who evaluates it to determine whether?
I don't know the answer to that. I know it goes to T-Cole, and I've never been involved with any racial profiling issues. I would assume it would be T-Cole.
Okay.
Typically, also if they get complaints, and that's how this all started years ago, the complaints of racial profiling, and that's voila, they formed this, and I can't remember. Been doing this a long time, but it's been a significant amount of years that this report's been required.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman King? Councilman Marshman?
Sorry for my curiosity, but this report also, you know where Martindale is, right? There, and what happened to them.
Yep.
Is that part of T-Cole?
I do remember some of the stuff that happened in Martindale. There was also some issues in Garden Ridge, which is in that same, I'm not Garden Ridge, Mustang Ridge, in that general area. And typically, if those complaints start coming in, T-Cole will come visit you.
Okay.
And you don't want that visit.
Just for the audience participation part, Martindale's a little town a little east of San Marcos that had 2 policemen.
A chief and a policeman.
Yeah, and they had a speed trap going. And I mean, if you were 1 mile over, it was a ticket. And so state intervened and they fined them to the point that they didn't have a police force anymore, right?
Correct.
That part, right? And I was just curious about that. Secondly is, I noticed in here the data is interesting, but there's 98 of the 5,920 stops that had drugs, that we found drugs. Does that, wow, okay, does that seem low or high?
We're a very active corridor here.
It's really, I think it's depending on which officer you find, and it's obvious. I tell people all the time, if you're going to smoke weed, don't smoke weed in your car because you can't hide it.
Right.
you know, and that's a dead giveaway. You know, that just, you know, people are not very smart when they're, you know, doing the drugs and stuff like that. But it doesn't seem real high to me. But
That's what I
we do have a lot of other ones that the other arrests that do take place with marijuana and other narcotics. So
Thank you, Chief.
yes, sir.
Ms.
Thank y'all.
Martinez?
I applaud you because I see the vehicles flying down the road every day, Monday through Friday. And I hear people, oh, speed trap capital. I'm like, no, they're pulling people over that are going double digits over the speed limit.
You are correct.
And it's for the safety. You don't know how many times I cringe when the ambulance or the fire truck needs to get out on 90 to respond going this way towards the bridge, and they almost get T-boned because people don't want to stop.
Well, I know myself included, a lot of families get phone calls. Are you okay? Are you okay when they hear those sirens?
Yeah.
Because there's just so much
Well,
going on.
As a former first responder, I cringe because it's like those people need to get someplace. So I thank all your officers for all they're doing. I really do.
Thank you all very much for this, Chief. Thank you. And I entertain a motion to accept the racial profiling report for 2025.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Murr, seconded by Councilwoman Martinez to approve and accept the racial profiling report for 2025. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
everything you do.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, let's move on to item E, which is the discussion appropriate action to accept the Texas Parks and Wildlife Grant Award for the Lions Park Improvement Project. Before you get started there, Jonah, I just want to make a point that I believe it was August, if not August, September, somewhere in that time frame when you came before City Council and City Council approved moving forward with the grant application.
Yes, sir.
Which you then got. And then we waited for funding approval. City Council took action at on February 24th to approve funding for this. So my question to you is since City Council's already taken action approving the funding, okay, what are we doing here until we get the actual grant in our hand that we can sign?
Great point, Mayor. And that was that was a little bit of confusion on my part. So this was more of just an update, just a refresher on what it was that we were awarded. So in the packets, it had the playground structure, the all-inclusive playground structure. It had the two-base swing set that had shade cover over it. But that's really all this.
This is an update on where we're at, and then once you get the actual documents in hand,
that is correct.
Then you come to council for the final approval.
And in my packet, I also have on there the original motion, which is to formally accept it, and then which council has already put aside those funds, but then also a later motion to accept that agreement with Texas Parks and Wildlife, and then to designate either city administrator and finance director or somebody to sign it in case there's something that we need signing throughout the project.
City Council is going to make the decision here tonight, but my opinion is I'd rather have the document in hand when council makes the approval, so we're not doing something in advance of the document.
Absolutely, I completely agree. And on that note too, I also wanted to make sure that we kept council updated, and that's one of the things. We haven't heard anything from Texas Parks and Wildlife yet. Funding has not kicked off yet, so kind of going back to whenever we submitted this grant, they had a very rough timeline, and that's that example that I put in the packet. But per TPWD, there's going to be a site visit between February and March of this year, sometime between now and the end of the month. Pre-agreement is going to come out April 2026 or later. Grant agreement will be issued August through October of 2026. And then the grant period is going to be 4 years from the time that grant agreement is signed.
But the actual equipment is subject to bidding requirements and purchasing procedures.
That is correct.
So it's not a final determination about the items until we actually put them out for bid.
The only thing that we are kind of, I would say, bound by is the aspects or the initial, based on the criteria.
What the scope is.
The scope is.
Yes.
We just have to make sure we meet those aspects of the project.
Thank you. I'm done. Okay. Councilman Murs, did you want to talk about this, that you are on the park advisory?
I don't know that there's a whole lot of extra to say. I believe that I've said before that the Parks Board spoke strongly in favor, that they've approved and they've recommended City Council to accept this grant when it comes before us.
Yes, sir.
They're strongly in favor. I believe the Friends of the Park
The Friends
spoke in favor, but of course they're not.
Yeah, they're more of regional park, but
They
yes,
don't
they support.
directly address Lions Park, but they still voiced their support for it.
I think City Council fully supports it too.
Absolutely.
But we'll move forward, but I don't want to speak on anybody's words. I apologize. I cut you off. Is
No,
there something else you want to talk
I
about?
actually appreciate you bringing it up because that's how I was going to start off with, is just saying this is more of an update.
Okay. Ms. Martinez?
Question.
Start down here. Yes.
Yeah, got a question. The picture on that page,
Yes, ma'am.
this goes out to where we have all that fresh new grass for the soccer fields and everything.
So the soccer fields are actually just north of that picture. So
Okay.
the soccer fields don't go past that tree line that's there.
Okay.
And again, based on whenever we start construction, we can adjust this model as needed.
Okay.
But yes, that's
We spent all
one
that
thing.
money and-
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And the intent is all of this is all inclusive.
That is
Yes. Oh, yes.
Correct.
That's a great.
It's a wonderful thing. I'm looking at that one.
Councilman Marchman, did you have anything? Councilman King?
Yeah, I agree with the mayor. I think everybody's in favor. I don't think we should approve it until we actually see the.
We
Completely.
need a contract in hand.
I agree.
Councilman Lee?
Yes, I saved my question till this time, and I've had some discussion with Joan about this. And this, of course, has just got to do with the grant. There's no specifics here. And the comments I had made, and I made them to you, Mayor, and I
Yes,
believe Mr. Dixon, is when it comes back to us to look at the next time, to me, I see a lot of frills in here that don't add play equipment. They're fake trees and they're birds and they're things like that might be appropriate, but they're going to fall in disrepair, going to cost us a lot of it. This is basically $1 million project, $1 million.
Yes, sir.
And so the same thing you said today, I found out 15 to 20 years is the max expected lifespan of this stuff. That's about 50,000 a year you're putting into this sucker. And so I would like to see, when it comes back, again, comparisons, references from other companies or users of various companies worth of equipment, not just one vendor, but multiple vendors. And I would like for us to, unless there's something specific in the grant that locks our hands, I hope it doesn't.
No. So I guess I'll ask for direction on that part, because the comparison I think we'll get whenever we receive those bids from the contractors that are wanting to bid on this project.
Okay, I understand. Well,
So-
all I have to go by is what you presented in the package.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that triggered a bunch of questions to me about sustainability, replacement parts. You know, they change design, so in 10 years, if we need three more of these pieces, can we get them anymore? And so I like to see the basics, like make sure we have some swings and some slides and some other things like that.
Sure.
That get used a lot. Now I know this is for people with disabilities and all kind of things, and that's terrific. But we need to look at long-term maintenance on this. So we're getting the best value. Are the components going to hold up to the heat and so forth we've got, and get some references from other people that have used this equipment as to how it holds up. That's all I got. Thank you.
And I agree with you, sir. I just want to make sure that we work within the parameters of what commitments the city has made through the grant application.
Correct.
That's all.
Can
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Was some of that, and I honestly just don't remember, but was some of that comparison of different vendors done in the lead up to this original grant, or was this one?
It was one. And this is one of the vendors that we've used at Regional Park. They've replaced 2 of the 3 playgrounds over there. So we've
Sure.
used them before.
Okay. I think that's good. Thank you for the report.
Yes.
And we look forward to seeing an actual grant application that
Absolutely.
we could bless and put a signature to.
I'll be
Move
back.
forward.
No worries.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor and Council. Yes.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to item F, which is discussing possible action to amend the Castroville comprehensive fee schedule to modify the fees related to utility reconnect and highway banner. I think this was a request of Councilman Lee and supported at least in part by Councilman Mers. Councilman Lee, please.
Okay, hopefully you all took an opportunity to read this. There was some history here, but what the city had done in the past with just a plain $50 reconnect fee. Some caveats were added later about if the customer requests an after-hour reconnect, then there was going to be an additional fee. And so what we ended up with, which surprised me, you probably heard me up here on council make a comment about why was this the number, because we went to $100 for a reconnect and then $50 for an after hour. And some of the wording is not plain in there, actually. I don't think the word customer request is in there anymore. But my proposal is we go back to $50 for the reconnect. If you want to have it done after hours, then you pay an additional $50, and the city administrator, city, excuse me, what have I said in here? The mayor, the administrator, and or the public works director have the option to waive some or all of those fees based upon the circumstances involved. So that's the proposal on the utility one, as we go back to the 50 for the reconnect, and then if it's an after hours, the additional funds.
Can I ask you to just, it's a reconnect for non-payment or adverse action, right? It's not just somebody that said, I wanted my lights off for 2 weeks while I'm on vacation, and then you come back and turn them back on. Would you charge a reconnect fee on
Well,
that?
the physical act required is the same, isn't it?
Well, it is, but I just wanted to clarify, is it tied to an adverse action or disconnect for non-payment, or is it tied for all reconnects? I just wanted to clarify. Since you're asking the question, I wanted to clarify that too.
Okay, my historical experience back in the day was we would have hundreds of people every month that didn't pay their bill on time. Hundreds,
Okay.
usually the same hundreds, and so very few of those got to the point of having utilities disconnected. And sometimes it was poor money management. Sometimes there were other factors involved. I'm just saying, if we have taken the position, I believe, of trying to be considerate of the situations the citizens of Castroville sometimes get into. And if that's the case, I think we need to help the customer get back online with their utilities so they can live in a habitable situation. And I thought when we raised it to 100 for a reconnect versus the 50 we had done historically, yes, I understand inflation perfectly, that it would be cover a portion of our cost to do that, and also allow them to get back online more quickly, which we can charge for electricity once they're back online. We can if they're disconnected. So that was the thought process behind that. I didn't particularly think about your question about going on vacation, but that should be considered. And then I would again say up to the public works director, administrator, or mayor to look at the circumstances involved and make a determination.
I only asked that because that recently came up with a person that had disconnected the utility services during COVID, and now during a recent issues, they wanted to come back on, and the question was, should they be subject to a reconnect fee versus somebody that was locked off for non-payment, which is more of a penalty associated. So it's just a thought on how that is, because the way it's written, reconnect is reconnect.
Well, Mayor,
I just thought I'd clarify that.
You're going to pay a flat rate for your electricity whether you're connected or not connected as a customer, correct? So if you go on vacation, I charge you not even the basic fee for sewer, water, gas, and electricity. There's no basic fee. Basically, it's a zero.
Oh, no, you get charged. There's a flat
Okay.
rate.
Public Works Director for
And
that.
so if you go on vacation, you're still going to pay the basic fee to have the service, and you're not using electricity. Why are you going to get an electricity bill?
The vacation was a bad analogy to me. Let's say somebody is gone for 6 months and they disconnect the utilities and reconnect them when they come back, and that happens. And when the utilities are disconnected, there are no monthly fees. It stops. If they just stop using it, there's always the monthly minimum or service availability charge. But if somebody's gone for an extended period of time, a year, for example, and they disconnect it, there's no additional charges. So is there a fee to return them back on? And I'm okay if it is. I just want to clarify that because that question came up just this week.
Well, I'd like to make an argument about whether there should be.
Okay, I don't argue with it.
Because sometimes I feel like we up here can kind of forget that we're not a judicial body. We're not interpreting the law.
Right.
We write it.
Absolutely.
We don't have to argue about what it says. We can argue about what it should say. And personally, I think that if someone is having city staff come out and spend time,
Sure.
disconnect their house,
Sure.
and while they're gone, we still have to maintain the pipes that cross in front of their yard. We still have to maintain the wires that run past their house. All the things that flat charge is supposed to pay for are still there, even though they're not paying that flat charge. I think that at least charging them for the time it takes to send the staff out there to reconnect them makes perfect sense.
I agree with you. I just wanted to
And so,
clarify that because that's a question
especially
that came up.
if we're also forcing that charge on the people who can least afford it.
Okay.
Because if we've got someone with a $300 a month utility bill, and I don't know what everybody else's is, but my last one was $300. We got someone with a $300 a month utility bill. By the time they're getting disconnected, they've already paid a 10% fee.
Yes, sir.
That was a penalty.
Yes, sir.
I don't think we need to charge any more than the actual cost of sending the staff out there to do the reconnect.
Okay.
I don't think we need to punish them additionally for not having the money to pay their bills. They already have that problem. And if you've got a 10% fee and a 50% reconnect, or a $50 reconnect and a $50 after hours, for some houses, you might be looking at a 50% penalty. You're being charged 50% more for not being able to pay your bill. And I think that seems very unreasonable. And so I think that we should not be looking at the reconnect as a fee, but as a cost recovery.
Okay.
And I think we absolutely should charge reconnect to people who are voluntarily reconnecting to save money on their utility. Got it.
I just so you know, and I have no problem saying it. When we did the comprehensive fee, I'm the one that suggested, or at least and staff agreed, to move it to $100 reconnect fee, but I also proposed no after hours, and then council added the F hours back. But after hours, in my opinion, shouldn't be everybody have access to that because you have to pay the extra time for people to come out. But that's my opinion. But I understand the $100. Mr. King, I'm sorry.
No problem. You complimented me. I think it should be the $50. I think if it's after hours, it should be additional 50 hours. I think it should be in any reconnect fee. But I don't think you should. I think, Bob, what you said is that either the mayor, the city administrator, or the public works director can waive that. That's, in my mind, that's dangerous because one will tell you no and the other will tell you yes. I think we should just leave that with the city administrator as it is now, and just let the city administrator can waive that if there's extenuating circumstances, which he has done in the past, I know.
Who is it here now? So who do you go to?
Leroy?
Representative right there.
But public works, you actually go to John.
Because he gave us instructions.
Well, that's who he designates, which he did like when he this time.
He designated it, John for all public works issues,
Yes.
and Leroy for all admin issues. Am I correct?
But I think that can wait a week.
Okay. Mr. Marchman?
No.
Ms. Martinez?
No problem.
Okay, I entertain a motion.
I make Bob, unless you want to do it.
Are we going to do both of them all together or separate?
I think we can do two.
We can do them both.
Okay.
I make a motion that we.
And actually, excuse me, before we go any further, the banner. Let's talk about the banner because that's what you're talking about
Well,
both
we
together.
could do two motions on one.
Okay,
item.
let's.
I think it'd be easier to do this one
Okay,
now
let's-
without tying the
Let's
other.
do the reconnect fee first. I apologize.
You wanted to eliminate the public works director, the mayor, and strictly leave it to the city administrator
Or his designee, if that's okay.
Well, that's already in the ordinance, I believe. We'll
That's
have to
already in
come
the
back with an
ordinance. We don't have to
ordinance.
talk about that.
We have to come back with an
Okay.
ordinance.
I'm sorry. Amendment,
It's still an ordinance.
a motion on the
motion.
reconnect fee, please.
I make a motion to modify the Castroville comprehensive fee schedule to modify the fees related to utility reconnect. It will be a $50 reconnect fee, an additional $50 fee if it's after hours, and this is any type of reconnect.
I'll second that.
To be effective
When, yeah.
immediately.
Oh, to be
Well, we have to
effective.
come back with an ordinance.
Or
We're gonna have
to draft the ordinance change.
And then we have to
Okay.
publish it.
Got it. Okay, I'm sorry. Motion made, second to move forward with that. $50 reconnect fee at $50 after hours if needed. Okay, upon request, not an after hour. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, now let's talk about the banner fee. Now, the banner fee, I may speak out of this. I look for John Moore to make comments about the $600, or I think it is, that was adopted. I think it was based on possible permitting and actual cost. Right, because TxDOT rules have gotten a little tougher about anything along the highway. Officially, you're not even supposed to turn a spade of dirt on a state right of way without a permit. I know how they've tightened those rules up quite a bit. I'm not sure if you feel comfortable with the $600.
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Mr. Lee, well, the point of the sign, as I said in my paper, is to promote tourism. And so, as I said, we've decided we're working toward giving the chamber, which I understand did not put a sign up this last time because of the cost, to promote tourism in Castroville. And to my understanding and my seeing these signs over the years, the signs promote Castroville events, and we want people to stop here and spend money, but we would like to charge more money to put it up in order to bring those people into town. We seem to work against ourselves sometimes. And if we get to the point that we want to recover all cost for everything we do, we're going to be in big trouble. And we do charge the citizens and the businesses in town already property taxes and other costs in order to provide services you don't get in the county. And so I think we need to be very careful about trying to say we're going to recover costs for everything we do. Because I think that might be a bridge too far, in my opinion. Anyway, I just made the suggestion that we not have the fee as high as it is. I did talk to the police department. I did talk to Public Works. I understand what they do, how they, get the equipment out there, undo the sign, put the thing up, block the traffic flow. I got all that, and the answer I got was generally takes like 45 minutes or so to do that, and so could be more, could be less. But that was my rationale from us jumping from $75 an hour to $600 flat fee. So,
John,
go for it. Whatever you think.
John, let me ask you one more question. Castroville is Castroville, and I'm not trying to say we should do things what everybody else does, but it's nice to have comparison. Do you have any idea what Hondo charges to put banners up on the highway, or even I know there's been occasional ones put up in across Lacoste on 471, or even Divine? What? I was just out of curiosity on what it charges.
Moving to the 600, April did do that last year when we were talking about this, and we were one of the highest in the county with the charge. So with the 600, we were the highest actually.
Okay.
Compared to like the other surrounding cities in San Antonio.
Okay. Do you have any idea what number you're looking at, Councilman Lee?
Yeah, I put it right in the package there.
Well, I'm just asking you. $200?
Yeah, I think it was $200.
It's $200. It's $200 an hour, or $200 not to exceed?
200 flat.
A flat fee of $200. Okay. How long does it take you to put a banner up typically? When you're charging $75 an hour before? 2 hours? Okay. Well,
To put it up and then take it down? So 3 hours total, or an hour and a half total?
2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours total. Okay. Councilman Murs, did you have a question?
I do actually. I have two questions.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not entirely sure which member of staff to direct this question to, but is this fee for specific organizations, or could anyone come to the city, pay the fee, and get a banner put across Navy?
So last year,
So
for
you're saying
fiscal year
nonprofits?
2025, there were 3 paying entities. That was the rodeo, the Zion Lutheran Church, and the Chamber. And then the other 7 were free, which are like the Nip and Tuck, the Georgia Castroville, I guess a nonprofit, were free.
Okay.
So
My.
The church and things like
Old-fashioned
that.
Christmas.
Yeah.
I love it.
Church event thing, a nonprofit event.
what the Zion pays, but the Catholic Church, they got an agreement for the, I guess, the Braden Keller Center that we don't charge.
There's different
Right.
agreements,
Yeah.
Right.
different trade-offs.
No, that's a utility fund.
The
So
word hypocritical comes to mind here.
We don't.
We're glad to
I'd
give
rather
it
not
to other
comment
people,
on
but,
the
you know.
varying prices paid by different organizations, but and forgive me because I'm not there when it goes up. Is there like some sort of permanent cable going across that gets raised, or that we like shuffle it out along like a clothesline, or
Yes.
okay, that you could kind of send it across faster, which
cable
would make
stays
it
there?
cheaper.
Yes.
Which could make it cheaper to do this in the future.
And you place time limits on the banner so much before an event, and then like 2 weeks before the event, you can't put it up forever.
Mayor?
Okay, so according to Hondo's site, they charge a $25 application processing fee and anywhere from $50 to $250 for hanging the banner across the highway.
Marcia, did you have anything? Hey, Mr. Lee. Mr. I said to call you Lee again. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep looking at Mr. King.
He's nicer than me.
Councilman King, please.
Some
Sir.
years ago, our city attorney sat there and told us that if the city puts signs up on poles, allows groups to put signs on poles, that we have to allow all groups the same opportunity to do that, including the neo-Nazis or the KKK. And we cannot stop any one group from doing it if we allow any group to do it. And based on that, we declined to approve the request of the Legion group because they wanted to put up Legion notices on the poles.
American Legion?
The American Legion. And because one of the acts where you were, he was a member of the American Legion and brought this. And because then it shocked us that we would, but does that also go with this? That if we allow this, we cannot pick and choose who. So maybe we need to revise this, because I could imagine, you think it's really big advertisement, but it's really not. For instance, we have the Alsatian Festival, but we put our posters on private land coming in and out of Castroville, and it's less than $200 because it's free. But this is something that could come up to haunt us if we allow this. So I'm corrected my.
You are correct. The problem is that as a city government, you're not going to be able to discriminate against different viewpoints. If you let the neo-Nazis go up there, you need to let the Black Panthers, but whatever. I mean, that's the only problem. That's the only problem with doing this. That would be one thing if it were just the city. You advertise the city festival, you keep it just to the city. That would be one thing. But the moment that you start opening the door up, for everybody to come, you have a constitutional issue that you've got to be fair, even with everybody.
So, I mean, even though I can't believe I'm going to say this, but if the city wanted to be able to manage what went up and what didn't went up, what did and did not get put up, the city might be better off just banning the placement of banners across Highway 90 within the city limits.
Unless it is a city banner. Now, okay,
Unless it's a city-sponsored event.
Yeah, city-sponsored event. You would be
Okay.
okay doing that, in my opinion. The moment that you start saying, okay, we're gonna put a banner up for the
Rodeo.
the Red Barons are flying in, the neo-Nazis are flying in, well, you've also got to do it for, the Constitution.
You don't have to come up with a second option after that.
Right. Well, you see what I'm saying.
That's the second. That's the, if you give it to these guys, you have to give it. You don't have to come up with someone after the
Well, I'm
Nazis.
just talking about the spectrum.
I understand, but when you expand it out, for example, right now there's the chamber events, the old-fashioned Christmas,
Yeah.
there's the nip and tuck folks, there's the rodeo, there's the tour de Alsace,
Tour de
thing-
Castroville.
different things like kid flies, things like that. There might be a little league registration, things like that. So those are not all city functions.
Mayor, right now we only have all nonprofits that actually put banners up.
Okay,
But again,
I
these
just
same
wanna
groups are
clarify.
non,
What happens if
But they pay.
right.
yeah, Leroy, those,
Well,
all
I
these
just
groups
thought
are
I'd ask.
nonprofits.
I think this is something we really need to study on what should be the city's policy on banners.
I mean, I see no problem with the city putting up, okay, we're gonna do city-sponsored events, but the moment that you get outside of that,
Right.
that's problematic.
Okay.
And the problem is that you don't know, lack of a better word, what crazy person's gonna come and want to put something
I understand.
that will sue the city just to put it up.
Oh, trust me, I put the banners up for a long time. I know you never knew what you were going to get until it showed up on your doorstep and said, "Here, put this up next week." Am I right?
Houston was
Go ahead,
So,
Oh, wait,
Dan?
Houston.
sir.
what constitutes city sponsorship? Meaning, we,
We do the Poppy Festival
right,
and, what other festival?
old-fashioned Christmas.
old-fashioned Christmas.
But is old fashioned?
And the 4th of July.
I guess it's which ones are city sponsored?
If I
Which
wanted the
ones are
Poppy
chamber
Festival
sponsored?
to be city
How does that
But
tie
the,
in?
but the city
and we gave them
contributes
$100.
towards it and stuff. But
Then it's city
you're right.
sponsored.
That would be city-sponsored.
Okay,
And then that takes us off the hook, doesn't it?
okay.
Right.
But that's something we need to discuss at a later time. We need to reel this back in. We're talking about a banner fee right now, and it sounds to me like, Mr. Lee, I'll turn this over to you. It sounds like this is something that we need a little. It's a bigger issue than just talking about the dollars. I mean, the dollars. I understand your issue, your concern. I'm not here to argue against Public Works because Public Works and the PD, we want to recover our costs as much as we can. They're doing what we ask them to do. But I also understand your point in trying to say, okay, how much maybe should the city put in as far as participation in this too? So I got it. But I think it's something that we really need to talk about an entire banner policy.
And you
Sir.
Think about what is going to be city-sponsored and how are you going
Okay.
to.
Yes, Councilman Lee?
Yes, also known as Councilman King.
No, I don't make
I
that.
think enough points have come up tonight that we need to drop this for kind of action and have us look into the legal implications if TxDOT has requirements about what can be placed over the thing or not, and if we're going to gift erection of the signs for some organizations, possibly we need to set a sum of money aside for city-sponsored events so we can keep track of our costs. Because all I'm hearing from Public Works, who obviously ends up bearing the loss, is that we do need to recover things that are beyond our normal service that we provide to our customers. So I think it was good that we brought it up and we can get this clarified and it'll be a little cleaner in the future. So I don't think we need to take action on this tonight since I think you guys know what to take a look at. So we come back with a policy.
I think that's good too, but Councilman Mers, you want to make one more comment? Sir?
I think I would hazard a statement that the prudent decision is not recognizing that we need to deal with how we're choosing what goes up and not doing anything until we make that decision. I think the prudent decision would be right now removing this fee as something that people can pay until we have a more detailed policy that guides those decisions. So I would remove the fee as something people can pay for to have done. So no private events, only city-sponsored events until we come up with a more detailed policy.
Right. The issue right now for us is the fee. We can talk about everything else.
But if you just delete the line that says the fee, then no one can pay for it.
And Dan may not understand, this Poppy Festival is the city has nothing to do with it. But if you gave if the city gave $100 to it, so if the city gave $100 to the Alsatian Festival, if the city gave $100 to St. Louis, then it becomes a city-sponsored event,
And we could get away with it.
and we could get away with it.
I
that's the
don't like
official
that as a
legal-
solution to this problem.
Excuse me. What I'm going to do right now is we're going to get back on track on what the agenda is. I'm going to entertain a motion to lower the banner fee, and then we can work on a policy on what banners can go when and where.
I make a motion that we lower the banner fee to $100 an hour, not to exceed $200.
I second.
Motion made and second to lower the banner fee to $100 an hour, not to exceed a maximum of $200 for the placement of a banner.
Question, $100 an hour to put it up and put it down? Is that the city's fees and the police department's fees and the public works?
That's a
Per person or?
total fee.
Total $100, no matter how many people we have.
Total
out.
fee.
Total.
So you're looking at $100 up, $100 down. Motion made, seconded. I'm going to ask, any more discussion? No.
I don't think this is a wise course of action.
I agree.
I think that we should be removing this fee until we have a more detailed plan about how we're going to approach
Okay.
possibly unreasonable requests in the future.
Okay. I agree with you on. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I don't know.
No, you said agree with me. I'll take it.
Well, I
You don't
understand.
get a vote anyway, so I've got
Well,
to-
I understand moving forward, but I would caution against taking all the fee away.
So that means we would have no banners then until we decide.
A motion made second to do $100 per hour, not to exceed 200 total for up and down. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, motion carries 3-2. Thank you.
So we're
We'll
gonna
bring
bring
that
back
back
an
with an
ordinance.
ordinance. Yes. All right. And we need a policy on banners. I think at one time we had one, so y'all might want to
I think we have one.
maybe
Because
look,
we
do some
do. We have
research,
some.
and we kind of tweak that a little bit and bring it back to us. I think we have one. Okay. Discussion and possible action regarding the market of airport property on the Castroville Economic Development Council website. Now, before we say anything on this, I will tell you that the agenda, the wording of the agenda does not match what the request was. The actual item is to discuss and take appropriate action on marketing of the airport by the Castroville Area Economic Development Council. The word area was inadvertently left off on the agenda, but I spoke with the city attorney, and because that was the intent, and it's in the packet, naming discussion, take action on marketing the airport by Castroville Area Economic Development Council, we're going to move forward with this item. And I believe this is Councilman Lee.
Wait, you got one of those.
Oh, well, yeah, we also have, just to let us know, we have a public participation form from Arnie. I apologize, Arnie, I always say your last name wrong. Delassi? Okay, Delassi, I apologize. Okay, who would like to be part of the discussion on this or ask questions, or did you want to speak first, or you just want to? Okay, good. So now we have that. You're going to be part of that. Mr. Lee.
Yes, sir. I wasn't aware of the picture that's in your package, just showing the airport from a distance was on a city website. Candidates Val Solis brought that to my attention, asking me, what is this? What does it mean? You know? And so as I delved into it, I called Arnie and asked him to explain, some history of this and so forth and so on. And I'll let Arnie speak for himself about what the status is of that particular organization right now.
Years ago, we had spoken about development of the west side, which is primarily what I'm speaking to in this. And there is a significant amount of information that anybody that might want to locate a business over there on a leased basis, and that, of course, needs to be abundantly clear and information that's available for people to review to see if they even want to talk to us. All that needs to be out there. Who pays what cost? We don't even know what it would cost us to put the utilities in there. And if somebody wanted to put a hangar in there, who's going to pay for all that? And you're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars if you're going to do what's in the other diagram depicted as a possible future development of aviation on the west side of the runway. And so, having dealt with this airport for over 20 years now, it's better for us to have our act together before we advertise for someone that might want to come in here and do business with us. Because otherwise, we're going to scramble at the last minute. We won't have all the information. We won't understand what all the costs could be or the implications. Yet the customer is going to be waiting for answers right away. So if you're going to do business with somebody, you need to already be ready with the information they're going to ask for, because you've researched it, you've got the facts before you put it out there, have somebody come ask you the question. And so my point is, we're not there. We absolutely are not there. And so I'm absolutely not recommending we spend, and my guess is it would cost us $100,000+ to have the engineers figure all this up for us, which would be paid by the airport. I'm not recommending that either. I'm just saying at this particular point, my suggestion, my recommendation is take this off of the CADC website as a potential place for people to do business with us in town until it's discussed thoroughly among council and staff to determine exactly what it is we're looking at. One of the other things I mentioned is green space, okay? The only green space Castroville controls out that way is the airport. And so none of that stuff has been discussed. The whole business about the sports complex. And that's going to be an agenda item that comes up a little bit later for the next meeting, is that may end up being a place that we try to get a lot of the local communities and county to put something together for this area. And so all that needs to be discussed and decided on where that might be. And so there are just a lot of moving parts about that valuable piece of property over there, including all the water rights, how to maintain the land, and on and on and on. None of which has been discussed by this council in any depth whatsoever. So I'm saying remove that advertisement from CADC's website, and at a point in time determine how we want to go about looking at doing something with that property, if we want to do something with that property beyond what we're already doing and what the FAA thinks we should do with it.
Okay, I wanted to make a couple comments really quick. When I seen this, when it was shown to me, I said, well, that doesn't even match the current layout of the airport. That's number one. Number two, the airport development zone that's been advertised does not match the current airport layout plan. That's number two, and that's even just as important, if not more. And then the third thing is my concern is city council driven issues. So that's just my comments. Yes, sir.
So I have a serious concern about this agenda item. Namely, we dissolved the city board known as the Castroville Economic Development Corporation last year.
That's correct.
If this website belonged to them, then it has already de facto been approved to be dissolved, taken down. We don't need any further action. But if the Castroville Area Economic Development Council, which is the name at the top of the website,
yes,
is not that board because it is a private entity, then we have no control over what they put on their website anyway. We don't. Someone can put whatever they want on their website.
Well, you're right.
Council action can't make them change their website. That's
my understanding. It's not a city. It is their website. It's not the city's website.
So why is this? Why'd you ask council action?
I think the question. I don't know. Good question. Did anybody want any questions, or we want to talk to Ernie? Yes,
and hold my questions afterwards.
sure. Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, Councilman Lee and I talked, I don't know what it was, a week ago now or something about this, and going back over the history of it. The CADC is a totally standalone 501c6 that was organized in 2008 at the request of, we had about 15 very influential business leaders of the community meet for several weeks going over things. It created its own group, obviously, and has been in existence since then. Back in, I think it was 2013 or 14, I didn't look up all the dates, there was a discussion of a potential business coming into the area from South Korea and using the airport as a spot to do a plastic injections molding machine where they would make windshield wiper components for BMWs that would go to Guanajuato State, Mexico. And at that time, there was studies done with some of the FAA. There were people from Small Business Development Center, governor's office, and some locals that got involved, and it was determined at that time that a map ought to be drawn, which is what's still on that website, so it's dated, and that it was because it would be either flying in or driving in components that would eventually end up being taken back and go to Mexico, that it was benefiting the airport aviation-wise, especially if the parts were flown in, fuel bought, all that kind of stuff. The question about where's it going to go, how's the utilities and everything going to get there, was brought up, and it's in an old plan that the city was involved with developing and all that. But the city at that point in time was talked about potentially putting in one block of a street on the west side of the runway, and that was all. If this company or future companies or hangars or anything else later were built over there, those individual entities would be responsible for paying all the rest of the improvements to the city or pay them up front and get it done so that that would be developed. As time went on, that business, we actually had the president of the corporation's wife here twice from South Korea, meeting out there talking about all this kind of stuff. Anyway, eventually they decided to move that plant to McAllen because of two things. One, less transportation costs going into Mexico, and the cost of labor to hire people to work there was a lot cheaper than what it was here. So since then, there hasn't been really much development discussion of anything at the airport. There's been, I think, two other kind of different one, the official one that's out there now as far as the airport layout is identifies land on the west side of the runway. I don't remember the number, but about a dozen new hangars. And then there's on that map in the far southwest corner, approximately like 110 acres or so, I think it is, designated for other development. That's all it's called on the map. So in looking back over it, what Mr. Lee and I talked about, and I've talked to our executive board that still oversees the CADC, is that what we would need to do, maybe one of two things. Pull off the map that's on there because it is dated for sure. There's a lot of buildings already on the airport that are not on that visual, but put the current approved map that shows the runway, potential hangar development on the west side and all that other kind of stuff on there as the site and show what it looks like. But I would say in the last 5 years, we as an entity have not been in any discussion with any entity whatsoever coming there to do anything because of the way the changes in the airport and some of the other city things have taken place. I've talked to two of our board members. There's 5 of us that make up the executive board. And it would be to suggest tonight, if it's acceptable to the city, we would pull off, because we're doing other updates unrelated to any of this on that same site. That is the CADC, visit Castroville TX, or Castroville TX means business. That we would put the current new official map showing the runway, where the hangars would be proposed and all that kind of stuff on there over the next few weeks. There's a few other items that we're updating on that whole website, not about the airport, but other things that's going to be done in the next couple of weeks, even before this came up. And we, at the point of CADC, continue if we're doing anything like we have in the past when the city economic development was involved or any of the other things. If there's requests for us to become involved and support something or do some research, we do that. And that would, I think, cover the concerns of we're advertising something that isn't possible at this point in time and get it off our website.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Martinez?
I like the idea of putting the layout that they have for the airport master plan, showing that everything that they have in the conference room, and it's in our packet too, of what we would like and what they see as far as what the FAA has accepted as far as the master plan and everything for the airport. That would be a wise step, and get rid of the other one post haste.
The current airport layout plan, current approved airport layout plan.
Correct.
Just like you talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is what's on all the boards out there. You've seen them.
Yep.
Anybody
Yeah, that's
been
the
out there?
approved
But
master plan for the airport.
It
Yeah.
shows, here's the area that
Yes,
on the original is the orange, but that shows hangars and AWAS information and sites and everything else, and put that there and just say, here's the airport.
I think that'd be,
Contact the airport manager or whoever for any information.
I think that'd be a great thing to move forward with.
Yes.
Mr. Marchman?
Yeah, so one question. How many members are on the CAEDC now? How many board members?
There's 5 board members. They're president, vice president, a secretary, treasurer, and just another board member.
How often do y'all meet?
Right now, as necessary, because of when the city created their own, we kind of moved into the background some because a lot of what we had is in our articles of incorporation and everything the city was talking about doing. Since that got abolished, we haven't jumped back into anything at this point in time. We still get anything we've done in the last, say, 2 years has been, which we were doing 15 years ago. I still stay in touch with UTSA Small Business Development Center, which is at the downtown campus in San Antonio. If you, let's say, come in and you want to start a new business downtown or wherever it may be in the area, and the reason the word area was put in there back when, area was Rio Medina to Lacoste, not the city limits of Castroville. And then it would be, you come in, you want to start a new business, you don't know what to do. We contact UTSA with you. They set up workshops for you. It's free because I'm supposed to say free. It's prepaid by your taxes. But anyway, they come over, provide support, talk to you about all kinds of different types of corporations you can create and all that kind of stuff to get you going. If you're an existing business and you're having bumps and grinds, or you want to know how to send products overseas or whatever it is to sell, we still get them involved with businesses here, and that we're doing probably no more than that, in about 8 or 10 a year, where we used to be doing probably 50 a year. The other is I was heavily involved in getting Go Medina created. And so I get all kinds of requests, probably in the last 2 months, almost weekly, of, is there some place real close to you that's got 400 acres we want to commit this kind of a thing? We're an Australian company. We're looking at putting a senior living center in the area of Medina County because of the growth. All that I send to Go Medina because there's nothing in town or right around town that fits those basic requirements. And then Stephanie Blanks through Go Medina is dealing with it if she deals with them. So other than that, that's kind of where we've declined down to that. So.
Thank you.
Councilman King?
I agree with Sheila's suggestion.
Okay. Marsh?
Sorry, could I just ask for clarification? What was Ms. Martinez's suggestion, and did it differ from what Mr. Velocity
No.
It's
stated?
actually what he's talking about.
It's
The current airport
Yes,
layout.
it's from the airport master. Yeah.
Yes.
Delete this, go to this.
Yeah.
Current
I-
airport layout.
That sounds perfectly acceptable to me, but I kind of reiterate that I don't feel council is really we put this on the agenda. I don't think they requested us to put this on the agenda. I don't think it was appropriate for council to put an agenda item on debating whether certain things should be on a private website.
Okay, point taken. Councilman Lee, do you have anything else?
There isn't a soul in this city that can answer the questions a business, be it non-aeronautical or aeronautical, is prepared to answer. We just don't have the information yet. We can get the information.
Sure.
But we don't have it. Do we have a priority? TxDOT will give us grant funding for some things that promote aviation. Do you know what those are?
No.
Okay. And so there's some things that we should be responsible to pay for out of airport revenue in order to support aviation side of things that we're paying for on the east side, but we don't have the money to pay for those on the west side. Okay. And so I'm just saying there's a whole myriad of issues that come up when you do this, and nobody in this city is prepared to answer those questions. Nobody. But there are airports around here that are developing, New Braunfels, San Marcos, and some of those others, that a lot of this information can be gleaned from. And I think we ought to go find some answers before we put ourselves in a position of having to try to answer questions we don't have the answer to, and we come up with an answer that costs us money. We've made plenty of those kind of decisions here that cost us money.
Okay.
So my motion is not to put something else on there, because we can't answer questions about that either, nor have we discussed whether it's the best thing to do or not. Do you want a green space? Who's gonna shred the rest of the land when you don't get not irrigated anymore? You don't know. And we're going to put Mr. Merce's house on there for sale on the CAD website, because they can put anything they want.
Well,
I'm saying you're putting us in a trick if we put this out there, because we cannot answer questions about development of that property because we don't have the answers yet, nor has it been discussed.
Well, I understand what your point is. I got it. I understand that. But I'm also going to make the comment. I'm going to piggyback on Councilman Merce, and I'm going to piggyback on something else too. Our airport layout plan is a public document. Okay. If that gets posted out there on a website as here's our layout plan, or the layout plan includes areas of potential aviation development, hangars, things like that. The other non-aeronautical, yeah, those are issues to be worked out with the city council if someone was interested in that particular property. But the airport layout plan, in my opinion, says where we want hangars, where we have that. It requires approval. I got it. I understand, but it's a public document. So I think Arnie has been very open with us that he'd take down what there is and put that document up. And I believe that anyone interested in that, he would point them straight to us so we could try to work those issues out. It got our attention when we seen that document. I'm not going to say it didn't, but I think we've got a process moving forward. That's my opinion.
Well, and now, with Mike, whether he's still here or not, yeah, he's still sitting back here, and the prior managers, anything that's come up to CADC over the years, somehow ended up being it at the beginning, because the agreement when we had those first meetings is, let's say you're all the citizen leaders who said, yes, let's create it. And one of us will agree to be president. Well, when it came that time in the meeting, it's like, who's stepping up?
Arnie did.
Well,
no, it was like, well, you knew who to get here as agencies. You knew who to get here to get this started, even what we wanted to do. So you're it. Well, I've been it since 2008 or whatever it is. And yes, I've made my interaction with the city on all this stuff is not going to change if there's something that comes up.
Well, I look at the development of the airport in a similar way that I look at development of the utilities. We have a facility. We've said what we want on that facility in broad stroke ideas. And then, but if somebody's interested in it, then we get down to brass tacks about, okay, you're going to have to do this to get that. You're going to have to do this to get that. And as long as we're all working together on that, that's the goal, is that somebody doesn't short circuit the process. Am I right saying that?
Agreed. Unless someone's going to make a motion, can we move on?
Is there anybody to make a motion on it? If not, I think we have you're going to do that pretty quick.
I've already talked to the person in San Antonio that deals with all of our changes on anything we do, whether it's visuals, maps, or whatever. And yes, all I need to do is figure out if I take a picture of this, or if, we get a photographer to take a picture and it's the right pixels and all this kind of stuff.
Mike, do you have it in a
All we need to
JPEG,
do
or is
is
it just on the?
is send it to him, and then probably 30 minutes after he gets it, it'll be gone. So I would say within the next, no later than a week at the most, probably it'll all be done, because we have 3 or 4 other things. Another meeting I'm involved in on Wednesday with a total effort entity that is doing some other changes that we're making on that website about them. So rather than sending one thing today, one tomorrow, one the next day, we
I
send.
just want to make it clear, it's a public document and you're going to post it. We just want to make the document as accurate as possible. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else?
Anything else on this?
Nope.
All right, let's-
Oh, wait, hang on. We've got a staff member with his hand up.
Mike, did you want to make a comment on this?
Yes, I did. Mike Haley, airport manager, wanted to remind council of a couple of things. And I had taken Councilman Lee's point about giving the impression or perception that we're shovel ready with money to build infrastructure, and just putting a picture delineating buildings on a map kind of does that, right? Should be a caption or something. I would suggest that instead of posting a picture, because there are multiple alternatives to the layout plan with hangars of different sizes and different locations, let's just put a link on the website where they can click on it. It takes them to the full master or airport layout plan. And we could have a caption or something that says that funding is not yet identified, or funding sources are not yet identified. And we take away that perception that we're ready to go. Also, we need to make sure that it's aeronautical activity, not just a candy store or any other business that wants to use that property, that it fits the aeronautical requirement. And then the third thing, and this is just Mike to council, be forward thinking of what might be needed for our airport, 5 years down the road, 3 years down the road. It's easy to think, well, we'll never have scheduled air with 737s landing at our airport. That is true. But eVTOL, which is electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, drones, it was supposed to be used to shuttle athletes at the Paris Olympics. Mm-hmm. It's now scheduled for the Los Angeles Olympics. There are some countries around the world that are already using them. So that may be, our airport may be a desire for people that are getting into the eVTOL aircraft business, shuttling people from Castroville to San Antonio or Austin or Dallas or whatever it may be. That's a potential, and that may be just a small landing pad with a charging station versus a big terminal building with a parallel taxiway that would allow a fixed wing aircraft to taxi all the way down to make full use of the length of the runway. And the runway that's depicted currently on there is 1533. We're actually 1634. So it's a different orientation of runway space anyway. But I am aware of the alternatives in the layout plan. I think directing people to that plan instead of to a selected photo would be in everyone's best interest. Hyperlink to
That's fine.
And I do have the plan in a PDF format, so I could provide it to Arnie or whoever, and that'd be an easy fix.
That'd be great.
Yep.
That'd be great if you do that. Okay.
I stand for any questions.
Two of us can get together since
We
think
meet
so.
all the time anyway.
I think so. That's great. That's a great plan moving forward, and we'll continue. I'm sure we'll have more conversations on this in the future.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I've been asked if we could have a little bit of a break here, so we're going to have it is 8:07, and we're going to have an 8-minute break. Oh, we did? No.
He asked for a motion, Bob, and nobody gave a motion.
There was no action.
Where's the break? So let me do this again. Are we ready? It's 8:50. Now it's 8:16. We're going to call this meeting back to order. And it is now item H, discussion and appropriate action to authorize the purchase of a vehicle for the gas utility department. Oh boy, here we go again, right? But you guys got a better price this time. And appreciate that. I really do appreciate y'all doing that. John, you want to take it from here?
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. City Council, good evening. One of the things was, like you mentioned, a better price and better price, four-wheel drive. Another one was, did you check with the buy board? We did all that. We went back and did some more legwork on that. So the buy board was higher than the price that we came back or we got here locally. When I say locally, I mean San Antonio area and so forth.
I know Mr. Flynn very well from McCombs.
Okay.
I bought a lot of trucks from him down at East Medina. My question is, before you go further, you guys are set on a Ford. Have you looked at anybody else? Or I'm good with that, but I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I mean, I'm good with that. I just wanted to ask you about it because I've seen all of your price quotes on Fords, and my experience, my other place, it's probably the better deal. But
Okay.
especially since you have a local dealer.
And you're correct. We did apples and apples, make sure we didn't do other vendors and so forth. As you know, this is one of the needs that we have in the gas department in order to respond for operations, emergency leaks, pipeline replacements, and transporting our tools, our equipment for safety. Safety is real big, as you know. One of the things is make sure that we obtain something that we can utilize, and we're really looking at one of the other questions you mentioned was why a 350 versus a 250, and then the other thing was that the price is only $1,000 difference.
I've seen that.
So then more truck for an extra $1,000. I think that was our recommendation, is to look at the 350 versus a 250, even if it's just $1,000. We did all three of all the vendors that you said. We sent you a list from Red McCombs, Cavender, Ford Bernie, and Chaparral Ford. I believe that's the last one. And our recommendation is to go with the 350 if there's something that you guys approve.
The 350 at McCombs Ford for a price of
$76,358.
Drive away. Fully fitted up the way you need it. Okay. If anybody's got any discussion, I'd entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the purchase of one 2026 Ford F-350 from Ford McCombs West in the amount of not to exceed $76,358.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and second to purchase the truck as stated. I have one question for you. Is it readily available, or is it, how long is the order? 3 months, because it has to be ordered. I understand that. Okay. Now we open it for discussions. Mr. Lee?
Oh, yes. Always of a concern for me when we buy a vehicle is where do we take it to get the service done on it? And so if this needs service, we're going to take it into San Antonio, right? That's what's happening.
We can, but other dealers, they work on other vehicles as well.
Okay. All right. Well, that solves that. I remember one time I was signing checks for a piece of equipment we had in Public Works, and the vendor charged us a trip charge to come from Shirts over here to work on the thing, and because we selected something that was so specific, but there were other choices. So I just want to make sure we consider all that. Thanks. Sound like you did.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Yes. Sorry.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Is there a substantial difference in fuel efficiency between an F-350 and an F-250?
No, it's pretty close.
Same
Right.
engine.
The chassis is what you're getting more robust on the.
Is it more robust or is it just longer?
So it's more robust. The suspension is equipped to handle more of the payload. You could put the F-250 to handle, but it won't handle that much of the payload.
Yeah.
I think for the cost of $1,000 difference, you probably be paying more down the road. Fit it with like airbags and things to assist. It'll probably be more cost. It'll probably be more down the road.
The 250, you'd have to put you'd have to spend the extra $1,000 to put the overloads to literally make the 250 equal to a 350.
It would be a little less than the 350.
Yes, yeah, but you can do that, but it's comparable price where you just get the 350 and you're done.
And forgive me, it's a genuine question, but what is the payload you guys are carrying in the truck? Is it pipes or this is an honest question. I don't know. I'm curious.
It's gonna be all equipment, using equipment, pipes, panels, fittings, emergency, squeeze offs, just
It has an enclosed utility bed to hold all of the equipment in there, so it's service ready. A first response vehicle for the gas. Yeah. Any other questions?
Do you guys have that little crane on the back?
No. Any other questions? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second to approve it. This was also part of a CIP purchase, CIP item. All in favor?
Well,
Aye.
Sorry,
Any opposition? Same sign?
I'll abstain. I had a question. I'll abstain.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, sorry, you said that it was a CIP item.
It wasn't a previous CIP, I believe.
Well, but there was a lot of unfunded stuff in the previous CIP, and I believe that a lot of it, for example, the vehicle replacement plan, I highlighted as an item that was not funded in the previous CIP.
But you guys in your budget, you put $130,000 in there for equipment. Is this part of that?
Yes.
So it's a budgeted expense.
So this is half of your anticipated.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a budgeted expense. It's all allocated.
For
as
gas.
budget. Okay, let's try this again. Motion made second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, truck. Thank you all very much for working on it.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Let's move to item I, discussion appropriate action to establish the proposed scope of the regional park pool, bathroom, and shower building. Jonah, before you go, I just wanted to make a comment. There's literally, I think, and I don't know all the details. It's out here on a plan sheet. Originally was part of the community center building. And then my understanding is the park board now has come together with an alternative that they feel better meets the needs of the pool bathhouse. Am I correct?
That is correct.
And we've been asked, council's been asked to choose which path we want to go so we can move forward and get this done.
That is correct.
Okay? One is a stick built from scratch and one is a prefab building with, you do the plumbing, metal building basically?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So there's obviously different materials that we can use. In the original bid, this shower building was scoped to have CMU walls. I think it had 4 pitches on the roof. It was, in my opinion, I think it was a little overbuilt for what the needs were.
Okay.
Nothing against LPA. I think they were just kind of running on what the Alsatian look was in the
Sure.
vernacular. So that was what they were given, and that's what they ran with. My recommendation and that of the park board is we want to make sure we try to match what we originally had in the original pool house building, but then also to make sure that it's functional and easy to clean and keep up with in terms of maintenance.
And the site that's been selected for this doesn't interfere with the pavilion that's there.
That is correct.
It doesn't interfere with anything else. I'm old school. It's generally where the baby pool used to be.
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. That's been long gone. Gone.
Yeah.
Okay. I have one more question for you. How long will it take to construct this?
That's all going to be dependent. Well, first, based on the price point on this building and the budget that we have, we're going to have to go out for bids.
Yes, sir.
So it would really just depend on if, let's say, Frontera was able to come in as the bottom bid or the lowest bid, and council was to award them. they feel very comfortable that they would be able to get this done before summer opening, bulk summer opening in June.
But it comes down to selecting a type of facility that council's going to do, and then you working with folks to get some plans and specs.
Correct.
So it can be put out for bid.
Correct.
Okay, open it up for any other discussion. Councilman Lee? Okay, Councilwoman Martinez?
What kind of price range are they saying?
From the original email that I sent Frontera, they said that they could, if it was a prefab building, pre-engineered metal building with the option 2 floor plan, they are comfortable saying that it could come in under 200,000.
They can match our budget.
Yeah, because our cap we put at 205.
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Marchman or Ms. Martinez, do you have anything else?
Yeah, that's all I've got.
Mr. Marchman?
Right now.
Reading over our packet, it says unisex, which
yep.
Excuse me, are we going to Europe? Or is this German?
It's basically just so that way anybody, male or female, could use the restroom, and then that way it's not tied. Because we're going to have an odd number, we would have, based on that option 2, I think it was three restrooms. Pull it up right here.
It makes it Houston. It actually makes it more versatile if you're able to use it across the board. Since they're simply just bathrooms and shower stalls for the pool.
Correct.
It's basically occupied, unoccupied.
Yes. So we don't want a line of women having to wait for a restroom when nobody's going.
Well, it makes it multifunctional.
Well, and it's a single seat
Yes.
bathroom with
Correct.
a separate closing, fully
Yes.
sealed door. There's no real reason to specify who can go in.
Right. There's just okay. Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Councilman King?
Yeah, it's the same as the other city bathrooms around.
Yes.
So right, and you said it's a prefab, but it's not a prefab, it's just a pre-engineered.
Pre-engineered metal building, yes.
With some type of siding that you all are gonna come back and.
That would definitely be up to council on what, I mean, my thing is just simple, but make sure that it lasts. So I would reach back out to Frontera and say, hey, if we were to go with this pre-engineered metal building, can we get some type of stone wainscot going up 3 feet or so? Just a simple, spray foam insulation. Just keep it very simple and low cost.
And they would design it, or who would design it?
I would have to probably get with LPA and see if they could design it, or if Frontera could design it at an additional cost.
Okay, so what basically the cost will be the design cost and the construction cost.
Correct.
As compared to using the existing design building.
Correct.
And then asking Frontera to, instead of using the expensive CMU, that'd just be a simple change to an existing plan. And you all are getting that information to bring back to council.
Correct.
Okay. So we still need to look at the two options and to compare, because it may be the other option between design and construction, it may be higher, where we'd have to go with the first one or reach that, or we'd have to modify how much we've agreed to spend on it.
Okay.
Okay, so this is really, if we approve this tonight, we're saying go do it and bring back cost options to us.
Yes, sir.
To move forward with the design and cost. And correct me if I'm wrong, I thought we already directed, didn't at the last meeting, we already directed the Parks and Recreation Department to move forward.
Yes.
With the exactly what we're, so this is really just an informative meeting because we already directed them to do what we're asking.
It's kind of like what we just did on the
Yes and no. So my understanding from Scott was that there was some confusion because originally my CIP page had the option 1. And then after Parks Board and staff had looked at it, we changed it to option 2. So I think some council members may have thought that it was option 1 that they were approving, when in reality, the final CIP page had option 2 on there.
My understanding from Mr. Dixon was the intent here is to choose the design and then allow you to move forward from there.
Correct.
It wasn't to, it would say either this or this, move forward.
But we, and I guess going back to that question I said earlier, we really can't choose one or the other unless we have some cost comparison between the two.
Well, we have a cost comparison based on what the bids were. I understand they're a couple of years back, but based on the bids, for that option one building, they all came in around the $200,000.
So the bids before came in about 205. That's where the number came in.
Correct.
And you've been told from the people on the pre-engineered building that they can do it for that 205.
Correct.
So it's a matter of the
Which
funding.
option?
Either way, it's a matter of pick the one you want to go.
Correct.
Right, so in the first one, Frontera said that, yes, we'll honor this price.
Frontera, no. Frontera has not said that they would honor the
Yeah,
original.
so we don't
bid
even
price.
know if that's
Yeah.
The
firm.
original one.
Correct.
So
That's.
you'd have to get a price from
But based on this updated floor plan and based on some of the different options that I said, we want to go simpler.
Going back to the original one,
Correct.
that Frontera, it was part of the original bid, and then
Yes,
they removed it at our request.
Yes, sir.
I guess the first question is, are they willing to put it back in at that original cost? That would be one question. And then, because we need something to compare to this option 2, which the Parks Board would like to have.
Sure.
But if it came in at 205, I don't think council would have any problem approving it. But it may come in more, especially when you look at design build costs.
Mhm.
That's when council will have to make a decision.
Mr. Burrs.
I will say that I don't think that having on this scale, on this small of a building, I don't think that having something that looks nice is actually going to make that big of a difference in the final cost. Doing stucco board or a rock facade on the outside is not going to cost that much more than just the metal building itself. It's going to look a lot nicer, and I think also some kind of gabled roof would really make the building look nicer, especially next to the $1.5 million brand new community center we're building right now. 2 million? I can't remember. I apologize.
It's somewhere in there.
Next to the over $1 million community center we're building 100 feet away, I think it would be worth it to make something that looks nice and looks like it belongs with that building, that you could throw a baseball from one to the other.
Yeah, and by the way, he's not talking, because I talked to him in the hallway, it would not be a metal siding building.
Yeah.
It would be, for instance, you could use a hardy plank with board and
It's
batten. So
a
that's a
steel
real
frame.
common thing. So it would tie into, or you could go in there and stucco it. It's just that the stucco gets real expensive.
It's a steel frame building, and how you finish the outside is
It's going to be dependent on cost.
right. Okay. Mr. Lee?
I don't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I personally don't have a strong preference between the two layouts. The Parks Board does recommend option 2 for the additional toilet and the additional shower.
Mr. Lee?
Yes, so we'll do our best to make this match what we're building up there, same roof color, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
The thing that I saw on the previous building was difficulty in cleaning. And so I assume all these will have draining floors.
Yes, that's what I would
Everything
recommend.
Put in will be able to hose down.
Yes.
And all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
What I don't see is any utility room here for anybody to clean that building, or any water heaters or anything else. So,
The original building didn't have water heaters in a utility room, so that's kind of what I was trying to keep. Again, just keep it very simple, low cost.
I would think about that.
We are. I mean, we would look
Why
at.
would we need a shower? If you wanted to take a shower, it needs to be comfortable. So, and it looks like a utility room. Somebody's got to put the mops and the buckets and the toilet paper and it's got to go somewhere, but it's not on here. And the other thing is, I would make sure the showers are as close to where the people come into that area and not at the far end, because we want people to take a shower before they get in the pool. So
Sure.
we need to make that as
Yeah, option two.
easy
Option
as
2 shows
possible.
that. Yeah, option 2 shows that to where the showers are closest.
So I'm interested in ease of maintenance, be able to wash it down, and a place. I think you got to have a water heater, frankly, and have a utility building for the cleaning supplies. Other than that, I'm good.
Okay. Does anyone want to make a motion or anything like that on which option or how we want to proceed?
I'll make a motion that we authorize staff to come back to council with plans for both options and estimated cost of both options, design and build. And therefore, then council will have a better idea on how to direct you all forward.
I'll second that.
A motion made second for staff to come back with more information. Basically.
Sounds great.
Okay. Okay, all in favor?
Wait a minute, you had
Yep.
discussion.
Discussion? Yes.
We've asked the park board, who spent considerable time on this, to make a recommendation. to
Yes,
us.
sir.
They have made a recommendation to us.
Yes, sir.
But we're going to not take their recommendation, correct?
I'm not sure.
The way the motion was made is we are evaluating their recommendation versus cost compared to the money that we've approved,
Which is 205.
which is the 205.
But we just heard that the Parks Board's recommendation comes in at the 205 or under the 205. We just heard that.
If particular
that's what-
construction
and-
methods are
Correct.
And that's
Yes,
what
if different construction methods are done.
Like, really, I think the park board's recommendation was this floor plan,
Okay.
not necessarily a particular construction method.
Okay.
And I hope I'm not misrepresenting.
No, that's my recollection.
Okay.
I would love, but also remember, if Proterra told you, oh, I can build this for 205, the big question is, because design costs are substantial, as we know. And so I think it doesn't hurt to when you all get back and evaluate this, look at cost. I would love it for the option 2 to come in at that cost, design, build, but it may not. And I think to make that evaluation, you need to look at all those costs.
Are both options built at the same location?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Sir.
When we sat in here and put that stuff on the board.
Yes, sir.
The comment that I made over and over, this may not be exactly what it ends up being, but we're making a commitment to do the bathhouse.
Yes, sir.
And that was agreed to by everybody. So it may come in at 210, it may come in at 202, who knows? My question was, is the design fundamentally different between number 2 and number 1? If they're both essentially the same thing, then, I'm fine with what Councilman King said, but if option 2 is a better choice, then,
I think option 2 has an extra bathroom.
It has one extra. It's more like a family bathroom.
More an extra
and
family
an extra
bathroom.
changing shower room.
Yeah, the larger room. That's an extra.
Correct.
So it's a little bit bigger building
Correct.
and one more facility.
okay, is 2 bigger than 1, is that what you're saying?
2 is
Two
a
is
bigger
bigger than
structure
1.
with 1 additional
Yes,
bathroom.
that's correct.
But the motion is for both buildings, right?
To get back and bring us answers on both buildings. It doesn't cost us anything to get answers back. You guys aren't going to approve your contract tonight. You're not going to approve anything. So you might as well look at 2 versus 1.
I'll try.
All it does is delay the construction.
I do
Okay,
have
go
a
ahead.
comment. Right now, we're asking for additional information to come back before we make our decision.
Yes, sir.
What I would ask is, can we, sitting here now, identify what's the threshold at which we pick one between the other, and then just put that in the motion so Jonah doesn't have to come back? Like, we could say, I'm just saying, like, if he comes back and he says, we can construct option 2 to the same general construction cost for $5,000 more. Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
That seems reasonable to me. And so we might be able to save him a trip back if we can put that in our motion, that like he only needs to bring him back if it's different by more than a certain amount.
Right now, the building's not designed, so the city's going to have to hire a designer, and then that design plans are going to have to be developed, and then it's going to have to go out for bid, and then you're going to have a successful contractor bid on it, and then we enter into contract with them. So this is not a quick process. The only other thing, like we did with Garcia Creek, you could put it out to where it will be a design build project. So, and then they would be looking at coming back, and we just have one contract, a design build contract. You still have to go out for bid. That would save you some time on a pretty simple little building like this, and that would be the other option. We could.
So like one would be build and the other one would be design build?
Well, one is you design it. So
well, no, I'm saying like option 1, we have a design from LPA.
Yes.
Not
yes.
exact design.
We do have we do have plans for option 1 from LPA.
Yes.
The only caveat with option 1 is LPA said that there are some ADA requirements that need to be tweaked. So the plans are there, but there might be some tweaking that needs to be done based on ADA.
And also, I guess the thought was is that you would remove the exterior because it's stucco, is it not?
I recall it being CMU.
I thought it was CMU with a
CMU, center block.
concrete masonry unit with a stucco exterior.
It may have been,
Yeah.
but
So then a way to reduce costs, so for instance, if you go from a CMU, which the contractor has indicated to Jonah, that's a more expensive method.
Mhm.
But to switch that to a stick frame building, that's a redesign. So they would probably charge us some amount of money to redesign it. So either way, so you can hire a designer to design it. We approve those designs. Somebody does. You can either just tell staff, well, you guys design it without it coming back to council, but I don't think council would appreciate that. But then once you do that, then it has to go out for bid, and then you get the successful bid. So that's on option one. LPA would probably redesign it. Option two, you have to have a designer design it, and then you would, again, go out for bid. You could speed that along by simply saying that you give out a design build proposal, just like we did with Garcia Creek. You guys, here is the preliminary plan. Come do that, design it, and then we'll look at total cost. That would probably save you a month or two.
I mean, frankly, I'd rather see a concrete masonry unit building there because it's going to last a lot longer. There's a building designed to get wet. Right? I think it would last longer, and so I don't know. I would just love if we could.
It won't be ready this.
If we could enable it to move a little smoother.
It won't get, in my opinion, it will not get built this summer for this summer swim team. Because if you look at the process moving forward, it would be phenomenal if you could design this in 2 months. Then you have to have a month-long bid process.
Well, see, I just disagree with that, because if we selected the building, the floor plan we wanted, depending on who you're working with, it's a simple building, a design in a couple of weeks, a 30-day bid. You're signing contracts by the end of April. You're up for construction. And yeah, it may not be the full season, but it'll be up and running by mid. I'm not the pessimist. I'm the optimist. It'll be up and in operation by mid-August at the latest. No, you choose the floor plan, move forward, design, bid it, build it. But that's my opinion. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Same sign? Okay, we'll see you back.
all right, I'll bring back some estimates
Motion
on design
carries.
build
Thank
for
you.
both options.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. We're gonna go on discussion on future agenda items. Mr. Murs, we have those items coming up for the subdivision ordinance and parkland dedication, and for the zoning changes.
And I had requested an item about locate calls.
Oh, yes, sir, and the locate calls. Those will all be on this upcoming one. Deborah, I need you to, after our discussion, we're going to call a special meeting for next Monday. This coming Monday at 5 p.m. An executive session for city council, and you can put it the same wording with the executive session we had here, so the city council can issue the PIP.
Will there be action?
There will be an action item after that. Okay, and it's just a one item thing.
Respectfully, could we move that to at least 5:30?
Sure, we can move that to 5:30.
Thank you.
We can move that till 5:30. Let's, the request of Councilman Murs. 5:30, one item, and that's so city council as a group with the help of the city attorney can issue the performance improvement plan. Okay?
Mr. Mayor, we need to have an agenda item regarding the letter we got from the FAA about the airport.
Okay, the airport, got it. And that's for the,
It's the baseball fields.
Yep.
yeah, it's the letter we received from FAA concerning the non-aviation use of the airport properties and things like that. Yes, sir.
I have a number, but one of my items is going to be discuss and take action on the results of the council-directed appraisal of the Medina Valley Baseball Association 18 acres.
Okay.
The guy that came and did the appraisal last week thinks he's going to have it finished about 4 days before the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, that was a council-directed action to get the appraisal. So
Sure.
that whether that folds into what you want to talk about, because that's all in that package of stuff. I don't know.
I think they'll all come together as
Okay.
part of that. Yes,
All right.
sir.
Well, that one, discuss and take action on results of council directed appraisal of Indian Valley Youth Baseball Association, 8-acre airport land, and I'll give a copy of this to her. I'd like a staff report on operational condition of all city generators, testing cycles, and the readiness to put online immediately in an emergency.
Slow down.
You've got a copy in front of you already.
I do.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
I guess that's it. Okay.
Discuss and take possible action on use of treated wastewater.
Okay.
This would include storage, distribution to the airport property, additional treatment required, limitation of the reuse, and so forth. Discuss and take possible action on getting projections for existing and additional water and wastewater facilities needed to match development.
Okay.
Discuss and take possible action on expansion of Castroville natural gas system.
Okay.
As we said, that would include line location, system capacity, probable development areas, and when additional capacity would be needed. And I would like, as a staff report, survey of city power lines threatened by trees, dead or alive, and a plan to address removal, because there are hundreds and hundreds of dead trees in town, many laying over power lines. And lastly, discuss sales and property tax applicability to airport businesses and assets.
Okay. Hey, Jonah, your stuff, the pool building, we'll have that back on the agenda. And I've talked to Scott earlier, Mr. Dixon, that we'll have updates from staff through him on all of the capital improvement projects that we discussed the 24th. Basically, I asked him for progress reports on streets, where we're at on that, where we're at on the drainage maintenance, where we're at on the water issues, and moving on from that so we can keep those on the front burner and moving forward. Okay, sir.
I'm sorry, are you done? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead. I
Sure.
might think of something else.
So I had made note of a few items during the meeting.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Robertson, I believe, with his September Square improvements wants to be put on an agenda.
Yes.
And then I would like to place an agenda item about traffic calming pilot projects and what that might look like.
Okay.
I would like to have a discussion about banner policy.
Okay.
Although I recognize that may need input from the attorney that might not, about what we can do and what would be recommended to do. And that might take longer than the next 2 weeks. And then I've been in discussions with the head of the Parks and Recreation Board, and she is very interested in initiating some sort of group to investigate possible locations and funding for a future sports or sports complex or regional park.
Wonderful.
This would need city council participation, and so I'd like to have a discussion about whether we'd be interested in something like that, and what our level of participation might look like.
Wonderful.
Is that going to be a presentation or what do you, I'm sorry.
I'm not entirely sure. I need to work with her more on this.
Is this going to be
Anything else from this side of the table?
This is probably in the first meeting in
Okay.
April.
I do want to make a comment to y'all just in passing, and I know that we're new agenda items, but in mid-April, I've been invited back to Washington, D.C. to serve on a panel discussion for rural water utilities for small systems. So, pretty neat to get asked to do that. I get to serve on a panel with a group from Florida on how it affects growth in small communities. And so anyhow, I just wanted to share that with you because I'm excited and looking forward to that. So
Is it going to affect you being able to be aware of
Yep.
the meetings?
Yep, I won't be at the April meeting, the first meeting in April,
the first meeting?
because that's the day I guess I'm talking. So anyway, we go from there.
I'm it.
So anyway, we'll figure that out.
The cat is away. The mice will play.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
In the middle of you talking about items that you were putting on, Councilman Lee was talking to me on his list, and so I didn't hear what you said that you were putting on.
Well, what I was referencing, just we want to bring back Jonah we want to bring back staff. I talked to Scott before about bringing staff to bring us updates on all the capital improvement program, the stuff we talked about, the things that council directed staff to work
Oh, I
on
understand.
through the administrator.
Yes.
That we get updates on all of that. So we keep everybody engaged on that, and we don't let things just become talking points. We want to move forward with these projects. Yeah, I do know that that's an issue from concern. When we talked about CIPs, we concentrated on the general fund and the enterprise fund, but we really need to have a CIP for the airport also. So that's a future thing. When I say enterprise fund, I'm sorry, I'm old school. That's utilities. That's the utilities system.
If
So
you have anything else, then send it to me because
we can go through it.
It's
I mean,
huge.
looks like we have more things than we have time.
Yeah.
But we'll take them and prioritize them and work them out through there. So does anybody else have anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Nay.
Thank y'all very much. The meeting is over at 8:52 p.m.
Council, I am donating a whiteboard in the hall so we can